All right, Doc, thanks. The NASCAR Nationwide Series season began 10 months ago in Daytona. And after crisscrossing the country several times, it's back to Florida, this time the Homestead-Miami Speedway for the final race of the year. The defending series champ Carl Edwards has made an amazing late season charge, winning 2 times in the last 3 weeks. Another one today, and Edwards could well make it back-to-back titles. In his way, Clint Bowyer, the Kansas native who's led the standing since March 22nd. If Bowyer can hang on for one more day, he may look back on his own amazing rally in last week's Phoenix race as being key to his first major NASCAR title. Races to go in the NASCAR Nationwide Series season. Can Carl Edwards continue to chip away at the point lead, or will Clint Bowyer grab the momentum back?
Spin off turn 4. Pit road will be open this time as we expect to see everyone come down. They move from 2nd to 5th on that round of stops. You just can't give positions away.
You guys are the best down there, so just keep your heads up. I'm behind every one of you.
Oh, we got trouble right here. Clint Bowyer gets into the backup. David Reagan. We have got several cars involved.
How bad the tore up?
This is exactly the kind of thing that they did not want to happen.
With that trouble, Carl Edwards, as of right now, has assumed the points lead.
Now the other leaders hit the pit lane. What very well could be the last stops of the afternoon. Carl Edwards is going to get out first.
That's the way to go, guys.
Here's the 2-car, Clint Bowyer. Now he is moving up in a hurry.
That's it. Drive that damn thing. Let's go.
This cat is driving like a man possessed right now.
Now go get him. You're better than him, too.
Here comes Denny Hamlin there. He is coming in a hurry out of turn 4. Here comes Hamlin. Here comes Edwards. And Edwards will get the win.
Clint Bowyer comes home 4th.
Hell of a job, guys. That's what the champions are made of. You guys showed it today.
The gap is 56 now, and it's on to Homestead with a championship fight.
T-minus 10, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ignition.
ESPN welcomes you to NASCAR Countdown. The 35th and final race of the NASCAR Nationwide Series is the Ford 300 from the 1.5-mile Homestead-Miami Speedway in Homestead, Florida. The 2 drivers who'll settle the championship between them have each just finished practicing their Sprint Cup Series cars. Now they shift gears. Shortly, they'll climb aboard their Nationwide Series cars and decide which one will get to take that championship trophy home later today. Clint Bowyer leads Carl Edwards by 56 points starting the race. If Edwards were to lead the most laps and win, Bowyer could still take the title by finishing 8th or better. If Edwards were to finish 5th, Bowyer would need to finish 19th. Yeah, you get the idea. Clint has some wiggle room, but the better Carl runs, the smaller that margin for error is. Qualifying for the race was held earlier today. Edwards had the 2nd fastest lap in his Ford. He will start on the outside of the front row. On the other hand, Bowyer took the 13th starting spot in his Chevy. Let's hear from the championship leader Bowyer now. He's with Mike Massaro.
And he's been laughing and smiling, but still there's got to be a little bit of pressure. What's this like right now as you stand on the threshold of perhaps your first championship?
So here getting all wound up on Coke Zero, but it's fun, you know. I mean, there's a lot going on this week. You know, not only do I have to beat Carl, you know, in this Nationwide Series, I need to beat the 20 car. You know, I want to win the owner's deal too. The Cup car, you know, we need to get into the top 5 in points over there. I'm 8 points behind my teammate Kevin Harvick. Want to get that done over there. Just a lot going on, but I think that keeps you down to earth and pinned down and not have to think about this championship battle. Important day. It's a lot of fun. You want to thank BB&T for giving us this opportunity, and hopefully us and the boys can get it done.
It's an interesting dynamic, and you just alluded to it. You lead the championship points as a driver, but you trail as a team. That said, how do you attack this race? How aggressive can you be?
Same way we always are. I mean, we're going to go out there and race as hard as we can and make the right calls and be smart. I mean, that's what we have to do. That's what's got us in this position. And, you know, really proud of Dan and all the guys. Like I said, they're the ones that their hard work and determination to put us in this situation. Hopefully we can get the job done for them.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Alan, he's trying to hold off Carl Edwards, and believe it or not, things have not gone all that well lately. He's finished behind Edwards in 6 of the last 8 races.
Yeah, Mike, 3 races ago, Carl Edwards trailed Clint Bowyer by 196 points, and it appeared his title hopes were pretty slim. But finishes of first, second, and first in those last 3 events have cut away 3/4 of Boyer's lead. Shannon Spake has our Carl Edwards interview. Shannon?
Alan, every week we've heard Carl Edwards say he's coming into the race. He wants to lead the most laps and win the race. Do you have the car capable of doing that here today?
I think we do. I think this Save a Lot Fusion's, I think it's capable of winning this race. The question is whether or not, whether or not it can, first of all, and then how well Clint's going to run. You know, we've won a lot of races this year. The guys are pumped, but we want to win this championship. And, I guess all we can do is give our best effort, have a good time here, and see what happens.
Now, 56 points separate you and Clint. So the chances are that the points are going to fluctuate during the race from lap to lap. How much do you want to know where you stand in the point standings compared to Clint?
Well, it really won't matter until that last run. You know, that last run we'll have what we have, and it'll be really hard not to ask Drew. You know, hopefully I have to ask Drew. Hopefully I can't see Clint up there. You know, that'd be good. But overall, it's just been a great year, and if we can cap it off tonight with a championship, that's great. But we'll just go for the win and see how it turns out.
And Carl Edwards has a great starting position to the green flag. He is starting on the front row, second.
All right, Shannon, thanks. If past performance is any indicator, you give a slight edge at this track to Carl Edwards. Edwards has finished 2nd and 4th the last 2 years here, while Boyer's best ever finish at this track is 8th 3 years ago. Now, maybe today will turn out like last night's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series finale. Johnny Benson in the 23, Ron Hornaday in the 33, separated by only 3 points starting the night. Some strategy came into play. Benson's team went for 2 tires on the 3rd caution, never pitted again, while Hornaday did get 4 tires late in the race. End result, on the final charge, Benson held on for 7th. Hornaday could only get to 8th, and Johnny Benson won the title by 7 points. Congratulations to he and the Bill Davis Racing Team. What a thriller in South Florida last night. Maybe we get another one of those tonight. Our ESPN pit studio is in the middle of everything that's Homestead-Miami Speedway. Got the lake on one side, got the garage area on the other. Victory Lane not all that far off. And we welcome you inside. Alan Bestwick with Rusty Wallace, Brad Daugherty, and Ray Evernham. We've got a lot going on, and after seeing how these last 3 weeks have gone today, I can't wait to see how it unfolds.
Oh, no, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. It's going to be a shootout, no doubt about that. Clint Boyer, he's got to maintain that lead, but he's starting behind Edwards. It's going to be a tough day for him, but it's going to be a squeaker, guys, when it's all done. I really predict that.
We keep talking about Clint Boyer and Carl Edwards. That's all we've heard for the past month. What about some of those other guys? What about Mike Bliss? He might sneak in there and get that win. I'm excited for this race. It's going to be a good one.
Hey, one guy's leading, one guy's chasing. The chaser's got the momentum. That's what makes great races. You're going to see one today.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Now, let's talk about Clint Boyer. How difficult will this day be on Clint Boyer and his team, and why?
It's going to be very tough on Clint because he is, he doesn't have the momentum like Carl Edwards has. Carl's won the last couple races. He's been very, very strong throughout the week. I mean, he has been strong throughout the last couple months, matter of fact. So, I mean, he's the guy that's got to look behind him. He's got to guard him. He's probably very, very nervous. And Carl Edwards, on the other hand, this guy's just wide open, getting what he can get, winning races like crazy.
That's right, Rusty. I'm sensing some pressure from Clint Boyer. And pressure in this business maybe causes mistakes. I don't sense that from Carl Edwards, so we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Brad, what about the other guy, Carl Edwards? How will this day be difficult on he and his team?
I don't think it's going to be difficult at all. I was down there yesterday kind of nosing around, turning a few wrench overs in their toolbox. And one of the crew guys walked up to me and said, "Hey, Brad." I said, "What?" He says, "You better be careful in here." I said, "What's going on?" He says, "You might get bitten." I said, "Bitten?" He says, "We're a hungry group. We want to win this thing." I said, "That's great." Carl came over and they were laughing, real jovial, very serious in their approach as far as working on the race car, but they are very, very lighthearted and ready to go.
It is going to be fun to watch how it unfolds here today. Still to come on NASCAR Countdown, we're going to look back on the races and faces of this Nationwide Series season since that first green flag waved in Daytona 10 months ago. Also, Kyle Busch with a chance today to break the record of the great Sam Ard for most wins in a season. We will talk with Kyle Busch shortly. And we'll visit with the driver who starts on the pole today, Joey Logano, trying to win that Owners' Championship for Coach Joe Gibbs. We'll explain that more on the South Florida edition of NASCAR Countdown. The final green flag of the NASCAR Nationwide Series season waves in 34 minutes and change here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Driver introductions ongoing trackside. The last race of the year, always a good time to look back on the events of the season. New faces, exciting races, history-making performances. In a neat little 2 minutes and 45 seconds, the 2008 NASCAR Nationwide Series season in review.
Gibbs racing streak?
Kyle Busch will be the winner.
Go give me that flag.
Kyle Busch will take the win.
Number 10. That guy's championship all-star series.
Clint Boyer gets the win.
Here comes Edwards.
Awesome job.
Putting all the pressure he can on Clint Boyer.
Whoa! 1-2 and the points come together.
That's it. Drive that damn thing. Let's go.
Man, I can't handle this stuff anymore.
It's on to Homestead with a championship fight. And that fight to be decided today in the final race between Clint Boyer and Carl Edwards. You see the scene at driver introductions now. And a little team photo. Commemorate the day. Never know, they might have another one taken with a championship trophy a little bit later on. Rusty Ray, Brad, want to get your overriding impressions of this season. If there were only one memory or moment you could take from this year, what would it be, Ray?
Well, that memory is how much talent this series continues to deliver. You know, you look at the two guys that are racing for the championship, and they're both Midwest short track guys, and now they're battling for a championship. You know, it's brought us Keselowski and now Joey Logano on the scene and waiting in the wings. You know, you got guys like Jeremy Clements or you know, boy, now I forgot the kid's name.
Young guys.
Good. Yeah, young guys.
Rusty, what do you think?
Oh, guys, for me, it had to be the Montreal race. Up there in
Brian
Montreal,
Clausen,
Canada. Brian Clausen. Yeah, for me, it had to be Montreal, Canada. First time ever that NASCAR in the history of the sport has ever raced in the rain. These guys not only started the race in the rain, they finished the race in the rain. Yeah, take a look at Carl Edwards clean his window off, but it started raining in the morning. It didn't stop raining until the race was over, and it kept it up, and Ron Fellows won that race. But what a great day. They proved that they can race in the rain.
What do you think?
For me, it's Joe Gibbs Racing. They have just been remarkable this year with Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Tony Stewart, and my goodness, Kyle Busch. Yeah. Outstanding, 19 victories this season. They were just an unstoppable force all season long, and they are to be commended on a truly wonderful performance, remarkable all season long.
Certainly great season for Joe Gibbs Racing. Denny Hamlin, yeah, that's number 9. They've been a force so far this year. Now, certainly Kyle Busch has been one of the stories of this Nationwide Series season as he gets introduced on the stage. 2 weeks ago in Texas, Kyle equaled the record of the great Sam Ard for most wins in a season in this series. It was 1983 that Ard, in the famous Thomas Brothers Country Ham 00, won 10 of 35 races en route to the first of his 2 series championships. Boy, a lot of great memories seeing that car on the racetrack. In that spectacular 1983 campaign for Ard, Sam had 10 poles, 10 wins, and 30 top 10 finishes. Now, comparing that this season so far, Kyle Busch has run 29 races, 4 poles, 19 top 10s, and yes, 10 wins. Can that record-breaking 11th win come today? He starts 11th, Dave.
And he's got records on the line today. Kyle, your crew chief told me the car was not the fastest at the start of practice this weekend. Did you guys find the line, find the setup to get you in victory lane today?
I don't know. We worked on it an awful lot and tried a bunch of different things, but we'll see how it goes today. You know, the Z-Line Toyota's been fast all year long, so hopefully we can keep it that way here today.
Now, the season's been great. 10 wins, chance to make it 11. What will you remember about this season, win or lose today?
Probably the most. I mean, if we can get 11, of course, that'll be the most memorable, you know, but
just the season in general that Joe Gibbs Racing's had this year, and the way that we've been able to all win races, and the way our stuff's been so fast every week. I mean, it's just been awesome. And you know, a lot of that's to Dave and all the guys at the shop, and of course, you know, we couldn't do it without those guys. We miss them being at the shop, but hopefully we can get them back and get them back here next year.
Been a torrid pace out with a lot of crews and crew chiefs still playing catch up.
Kyle Busch starting 11th today. A couple of other drivers we want to keep our eye on as this 300-miler unfolds. Jeff Burton, defending winner of the race, started 30th last year, much closer to the front this time, starting 4th. Brad Keselowski, 2 wins this year, 3rd in points. He qualified 6th fastest for this race. And Dale Earnhardt Jr., who celebrated 2 Nationwide Series championships at this track. He starts 7th in today's race in car 5. It's NASCAR Countdown for the season finale in South Florida. Tomorrow, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, yeah, that little trophy, concludes here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway with the Ford 400. Jimmy Johnson starting 30th, Carl Edwards 4th. 99% it's Johnson's title, but you never know. It's racing. 3 Eastern time on ABC, starting with NASCAR Countdown tomorrow. Qualifying for this race held at lunchtime today. Joey Logano picked up his 3rd pole of the season in the Gibbs 20 car, edging Carl Edwards by just over 1/10 of a second. A lot riding on the day for Logano and the 20 team, as NASCAR tracks points by team owner, not just driver. Remember that Tony's, as you look at David Reagan's qualifying run from earlier today, he starts 3rd. Remember that Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch, and Denny Hamlin have also driven the 20 this year. Between all 4 drivers, that car has 9 wins and is in a very tight fight for the Owners' Championship with that Richard Childress Racing 2 car. Let's hear from Logano with Jamie Little.
And his first time here, and he's on the pole, pretty impressive. Now, yesterday, J.D. Gibbs, in front of you, talked about the importance of winning this Owners' Championship. He has full confidence you can do it. 28 points in the lead. Do you think you can get it done today, and how do you do it?
Well, we got a good start, that's for sure, and we'll see what we can do with the DLP Toyota. You know, we've had an awesome year so far, and just got to finish it off. You know, we got a good starting spot. Hopefully we can lead a lap, get 5 bonus points there, and just be smart. You know, I think we got top 5. We'll pretty much have it wrapped up there, so we got to just be smart about it all night.
All right, Joey Logano credits the NASCAR video game to learn this track so quickly. Mike Massaro?
And David Reagan has used those video games, but nothing replaces real-life experience here in year 2. How much do you feel like you've grown as a driver over the course of this season, and how much will it help you today?
I think we've grown a lot as an overall team, our discount tire team, and even our AAA guys on the Cup side. We've all learned together. We've worked hard and really put a lot of effort on some of our weak points from last year. So I feel like that I can take a little bit of the credit, but for the most part, it's our discount tire crew chief, Mike Kelly, and Jimmy Finning. They've been a big part of our success.
And collectively, they've been closing in on that first victory, Alan. They roll off 3rd today.
Yeah, certainly he'll be one to keep an eye on as this race unfolds. All right, let's talk about this track and today's race. The track was reconfigured for the 2003 season, has what's called progressive banking in the turns. That means in the 3 lanes in the corner, 18 on the bottom, 19 degrees in the middle, 20 degrees up top.
And boy, I love it because of that. It means you can race on the bottom, in the middle, on the top. You can pass all over this racetrack. That's the great thing about progressive banking. You know, we're going to take a look at some passing right now. There's Stephen Wallace in the front right. They get in the corner. He can run in the middle of the track to the top of the track. And the one big thing you're going to notice is the momentum that he gets off the corner right here. Comes off of turn 4, comes flying down that front straight. But look at that speed that he gains, and it's all about momentum, guys.
And that's right, Rusty. And today, when Brian Clausen and those 42 other drivers take the green flag, they're going to be starting in the sun, and they're going to be racing into the night. The track's going to change, so that progressive banking is going to be their friend because they're going to have to adapt to the track changes as it cools down.
Yeah, one of the things we notice traditionally at racetracks is pit road, and you usually come off of turn 4 and you go immediately onto pit road and look for the cone, the commitment cone. Well, here at Homestead, it's a little different. You see the end of that white line right there. That's where you have to commit to get onto pit road, and actually you're getting onto an access road before you even come to the commitment cone. And it's really, really unique because you can go as fast as you like on that access road right there, but by the time you get to the commitment cone, you got to get it woed up. And if you look at that access road, it's very, very narrow, and guys come flying down through there. They'll drop 2 wheels off into the mud and the dirt, and the next thing you know, they're spinning out. We have an incident every year on that access road, so look for that, fans, as we go into the race today.
Eric Almirola there from last year. Green flag pit stops. Watch for somebody to mess up on that commitment road. Now let's talk about pit road while we're down there and bring back in the pressures of the championship. championship for a minute. The pit crews, who in an atmosphere where every split second counts, actually may need to slow down a little bit today to succeed. To explain on that, let's go to our ESPN Tech Center and bring in Tim Brewer. Tim?
Alan, you're exactly right. First thing I'm going to tell my guys today is slow down, you go faster. The right side, when they change the tires, they get the lug nuts all back on. That's great. They got a NASCAR guy over there. He can tell them, hey, if you hit it or not. But you've got 5. Take 5 off, put 5 back on. Don't leave the lug nut off, because the left side, if you let the car leave, they're going to bring you back in. You're going to lose a lot of track position. Another thing, fuel mileage. Make sure the thing's full of fuel before it leaves the pit area, because we've got to have accurate fuel mileage. If we need to gamble at the end of the race, we need to know exactly how far we can go. AB?
Brewer, how many times did you tell a crew guy over the years, 5 off, 5 on, slow down?
Andy Petrie was my best student. The first time he went over the wall, I said, Andy, slow down, you go faster, and we won the race.
There you go. All right, Tim, thanks. Hey, a couple other drivers to keep a lookout for today. Jamie McMurray starts 5th, driving for Roush Fenway. Team's had a lot of success here. Denny Hamlin, a 4-time winner this season, drives the Braun 32 today from 8th on the grid. And the tight Rookie of the Year fight, that Brian Clausen kid, with one last shot at securing the title. He qualified 9th in the Ganassi 40. It's NASCAR countdown for the championship deciding race. That's Brian Clausen, Ray.
That's him. Can I meet him?
Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. Get there on Silent Armor technology with the strength of Kevlar for toughness and a comfortable ride.
All right, guys, championship All-Star Series.
Clint Boyer gets the win.
Here comes Edwards.
Awesome job.
Putting all the pressure he can on Clint Boyer.
Oh! 1-2 and the points come together.
That's it. Drive that damn thing. Let's go.
Can Carl Edwards continue to chip away at the point lead, or will Clint Boyer grab the momentum back?
And Edwards will get the win.
It's on to Homestead with a championship fight. Story of the day, determining who will be the NASCAR Nationwide Series champion. It will either be Clint Boyer starting 13th, or Carl Edwards trailing by 56 points and starting on the outside of the front row today. Little history here. All but once in the 26 years of this series, the driver leading the standings entering the final race has won the title. The exception 1989, when the late Rob Moroso trailed Tommy Houston by 19 points and overcame that deficit to win the title. Question for you gentlemen, does the trend continue and Clint wins it? Or does Carl become number 2 to take away that championship on the final day of the season?
No, the trend will definitely continue. I believe that Clint Boyer will win this race. I think, though, that Carl Edwards is going to drive his brains out. He's going to be like a possessed maniac out there going for it, and it's going to be close, but Boyer will win this championship.
Yeah, I agree with you. Clint Boyer is so consistent, and the one thing that happens in these nationwide races is that cream does rise to the top. He'll be in the top 5 before we're halfway through this race and finish there.
And I know I'm normally the numbers and averages guy, but I've got to tell you, my gut is telling me I don't like the look of the pressure on Clint Boyer's face.
Well, having a moment with Richard Childress there alongside the car before the opening ceremony. So Ray is calling for Carl to overcome history and pull the championship off on this last day, while Ray and Rusty and Brad rather saying it's going to be Clint who hangs on for the title. Here's what I say. I want to find out. Let's watch. The crew's beginning to assemble along pit road, beginning to usher some of the pre-race guests back away from the cars and teams. And shortly we'll have the opening ceremony, and then the final event of the 10-month-long NASCAR Nationwide Series season will get underway. 43 drivers in the field, a trophy for the winner of the race. A championship trophy is on the line as well at the end of the day. Let's go trackside for the opening ceremony.
Race fans, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Homestead Air Reserve Base presents our nation's color. And remain standing as Pastor Pedro Garcia of Calvary Chapel, Kendall, offers today's invocation.
Please join me for a word of prayer. Father, we do thank you so much for bringing us here to the Homestead-Miami Speedway for this, the final race of the Nationwide Series. We pray for your protection over each and every one of the drivers. May your hand guide them as they speed around the Speedway. We pray for protection for the crew members and for all the officials. And Father, we thank you for these, the finest fans in all of sports. Bless us as we enjoy this race. And last but not least, we thank you for your son, Jesus, whom you sent to die upon a cross so that we that would believe in him would have life and life to the full. We love you and we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Race fans, please welcome 14-year-old Johnny Jones of Calvary Christian Academy as he performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And the flyover. Concluding the pre-race ceremony, and now all the build-up is over. Carl Edwards, Clint Boyer, time to climb aboard and get down to business. 300 miles to the final checkered flag of the season and the championship. The command to start engines next from South Florida. The Ford 300 at the Homestead-Miami Speedway is brought to you by the all-new 09 F-150. It's not just a new truck, it's a new F-150. And by the U.S. Navy. 8,220.5 miles of racing at 26 speedways in 3 countries across 10 months. All in pursuit of the NASCAR Nationwide Series Championship. Now it comes down to 2 drivers and how they fare in this Ford 300 to settle it. Let's go upstairs for the call of the race and bring in Dr. Jerry Punch, Andy Petrie, and Dale Jarrett. Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Alan. You take a look at the home stretch of the season. It's easy to see how Carl Edwards has hustled his way back into championship contention coming to Homestead. And now the margin stands at just 56 points. Hello, everyone. Glad to have you with us here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, for what should be a great finale here for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Now, Clint Boyer has the points lead. We just saw that Carl Edwards has the momentum. You heard what the guys downstairs said a moment ago. But what do you experts believe? Who's going to win this championship and why?
Clint Boyer is going to win this championship for 2 reasons. One, he's got a 56-point lead, and he's going to need all those points because Carl Edwards is going to put the pressure on him today. The other reason is it's Richard Childress' organization. They know how to win championships at every level in NASCAR, and Richard Childress himself is going to be on that radio. I think that's going to be the factor that's going to bring it home for Clint.
I'm not exactly sure who's going to win this, but I'm going to tell you, Carl Edwards is going to make a great run at it. I know he's told us a number of times he doesn't really believe in momentum, but he has to look at that record and say, man, we've made up a lot of points. The opportunity is here for us today to do something pretty special. So I think he's going to give it his best effort. He's going to go out there and lead laps. He's going to make Clint Boyer earn this championship. The one thing I do know is this is going to be a lot of fun to cover.
In an 11th hour decision this week, Clint Boyer's car owner Richard Childress opted to add a 3rd car to this race this weekend, bringing last year's winner down here, Jeff Burton. Now, what impact, directly or indirectly, could that 3rd car have on the outcome of this championship today?
Well, Richard Childress brought that car here on purpose. He did that just to give them a better shot at having this championship in hand, because there's a lot of things that can happen. He can get up there and race Carl Edwards hard, make Carl maybe make a mistake. He can do a lot of things there, but also it puts him another car in there that if should he need another spot for Clint, he could maybe have, I won't call it team orders, but he might have some things happen at the end of the race that could help Clint's chances.
Very calculating move by Richard Childress, someone that knows how to win championships, been there before, doing everything they possibly can to try to ensure Clint Boyer is going to win this championship. The other thing Jeff Burton could help with is if they make some adjustments to their car that work for them, they could relay that over to Clint Boyer, and that could help him try to win this championship.
We talk about the fact there's also an owner's championship up for grabs today. 3 cars within 84 points, 3 owners within 84 points. Joe Gibbs trying to go to get his unprecedented 5th championship here as an owner. Well, who will it be? Clint Boyer has led the points for the last 29 consecutive weeks. Carl Edwards has not led the points for a single race week here in 2008 season. Could Carl Edwards win the title in back-to-back? Could Clint Boyer, the kid from Kansas, get it done here in the season finale? We're about to find out as we go down trackside to get the command to fire them up.
Race fans, are you ready? The time is now for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome Chairman of the Ford Dealers Advertising Fund of South Florida, Al Young.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Crank him up. Crank him up.
Crank it up.
Engines have fired, and 43 of NASCAR's finest Nationwide Series drivers set to get it on for the final time here in 2008. 35th race in the 27th season. Over $50 million this series is worth. Take a look at our starting grid, and 18-year-old Joey Logano on the pole for the 3rd time in his career, flanked by Carl Edwards, who is trying to win back-to-back championships. Now, while you watch to see where your favorite driver is starting, let's visit with our in-race reporter, the driver of the Save-A-Lot Ford, Carl Edwards, who starts second.
Carl, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
Yep, I got you, Dale.
Hey, man. Starting second, could there be a more perfect scenario for you to try and catch Clint, given your success on mile-and-a-half tracks?
You know, I don't know. I mean, it's looking pretty good right now. You know, we got a really great Save-A-Lot Fusion. I think we might even have the best starting spot here on the outside, depending on how Joey gets in his first corner. And, you know, and Clint's back there. So right now, it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about your car being made adjustable as we go into tonight, but we see all that tape and everything inside the race car. Can you explain that to our viewers?
Yeah, we got this tape up on the windshield, obviously, to keep the sun from coming down there, and then got a little bit of tape right here just in case the sun starts reflecting off the stuff. And it's a lot of tape. It's a lot of tape, so I'm hoping it stays where it's at and, you know, doesn't slow us down because it's so heavy. It's a ton.
All right, Carl, thanks for talking with us, and have a great afternoon.
Thanks, man. I hope you guys have a good show, and I hope the fans enjoy it.
Hey, Drew Blickensderfer, Andy Petrie, have you got us?
Hey, Andy.
Hey, Drew, you guys have been so strong in the second half of the year. What's the biggest difference in the car setups that's brought you to this kind of performance and a chance at this championship?
You know, we're real close to where Carl and the rest of our Cup cars were last year. They ran real well last year on these type tracks, so we want that kind of stuff.
Did you learn anything from the truck race strategy-wise that might help you here at the end of this thing?
Oh, yeah, I was real close to watching the finish of that race, and between the 33s pitting the 99 there, watching what happened. So I learned from that a little bit. You know, I was in a different situation than those guys on the 33 and the 23. We got to make something happen, you know, to catch Clint. So if it comes down to a situation like that, it'll be a gamble that's probably more worth it for us.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys, for talking to us, and good luck today.
Thank you.
Carl Edwards, remember, went winless for the first half of this season. In the very first race that he and Drew Blickensderfer hooked up on June 21st, they went to victory lane. We'll take you inside the action with 9 cars carrying onboard cameras, including both championship contenders, and we'll have an opportunity to talk with some of the drivers as the day unfolds. Field rolling behind the pace cars. We are getting set for ESPN coverage of the Ford 300 here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. So many special stories we'll be covering today, from championship contenders, battles in the top 10. How about owners trying to get in, and someone going for a record here in the NASCAR history books? To elaborate on all these stories, let's go down to the pits first. Here's Dave Burns.
And Doc, I believe today's championship is going to come down to decisions and execution. Whether you're following Carl trying to overcome or Clint hanging on to that lead he has, these paid professionals behind the wheel, over the wall, and on top of the pit box are going to need to make choices and then make executions to make those choices stick. Decisions and executions today for a champion after 300 miles. Jamie?
Well, Dave, Homestead is notorious for upset wins when it comes to a championship on the line. Two drivers who'd love to get it done today who remain winless this season, David Reagan and Mike Bliss. They sit 4th and 5th in the points. Now, David Reagan has had a standout season, and with him starting 3rd today, this is a great track for Roush Fenway Racing. It could be a great day to get his first victory in NASCAR. Mike Massaro?
Jamie, the driver's title isn't the only championship that will be decided tonight. Of course, the owner's title is in the balance as well. A very slim margin between the 20 car that leads the 2 car by only 28 points. The pressure falls on 18-year-old rookie Joey Logano to protect that lead. But don't count out the veterans at RCR. Dan Daringhoff, the crew chief for Clint Boyer, told me recently, we're here to win the whole championship, not just half of it. Shannon?
Mike, 2 weeks ago at Texas Motor Speedway, Kyle Busch earned his 10th win of the season and tied Sam Ard's single-season win record. Well, today he has an opportunity to pass that record and rewrite the history books. Kyle Busch is not running for a championship. He's only going for a win. Combine that motivation with the fact that he's in one of the most dominant cars on the racetrack, the chances are very high that while we're celebrating a champion here tonight, we'll also be celebrating a new nationwide record. Doc?
It is a 300-mile race, 200 laps on a 1.5-mile racetrack. Pit road speed, and pit road can be a bit tricky getting on and off. We'll delineate that later, how you do it. And there's the pit window, unless you're some of these guys that tend to stretch the fuel a little bit.
Yeah, we've seen that in the Cup Series with Bob Osborne. We don't know how far these Nationwide Series cars could actually go, but that's about the estimated pit window.
A couple of young dreamers from the Midwest. Clint from Kansas, Carl from Missouri. And these two guys thinking about championship. Let's listen in to the radio.
10-4, guys. You've been doing a great job. We've been doing extraordinarily well. So just keep doing what we're doing. Have a good time tonight, no matter what. And just enjoy yourselves. And I just appreciate everything.
Carl Edwards outside front row saying his thank yous to his guys for how hard they've worked.
And he knows this is important to lead this first lap. How much is your heart rate up right here, Dale, when you're getting ready to come get this green?
Oh, man, battling for a championship, knowing what you need to do, you get out there, and you've got a young man on the inside there that wants to lead because he has the burden of trying to win an owner's championship for his team. These guys are pretty pumped right now. This is exciting stuff. Yeah, I've been in situations in the car, you know, and that was fun, but it's even as much exciting up here talking about it.
Joey Logano, the 18-year-old on the pole, trying to give Toyota their 21st victory. Remarkable season for Toyota in 2008. Carl Edwards trying to win back-to-back NASCAR nationwide titles. Clint Boyer back in 13th spot. Can he get it done? We're about to find out as the green flag waves at Homestead.
Carl on the outside. He's trying to make it stick there and get a run down the backstretch.
He's able just to keep just a fender up on that 20 car coming off the corner to get this outside lane. He's got a little advantage getting into 3.
Oh, drives it way down in there. Logano fights back.
Carl trying to keep the fender. Can he keep it? Logano will lead first time by, but Edwards is still there.
Logano wanted those 5 bonus points for that owner's championship.
Like Carl gave it everything he had there, but Joey just had a little better car here in the early laps.
I think what he had as much as anything was that inside position, shorter way around there, and he used that to his advantage. He obviously has a very fast race car by putting it on the pole.
See why Carl put all that tape on his windshield and on his dash. That sun does get right down in their face coming down that front straightaway. Dave?
Guys, there's one good thing about Carl not leading that first this lap, it does not mimic what happened to them at Darlington. Remember, Carl was a pole sitter and chose to sit on the outside for that race, and going into turn 1, he hit the wall with that race car, damaged it. They ended up finishing last that day. That was a big points loss day for them. Carl kept it under control here. It's a different racetrack, but same scenario, and even though he hasn't led yet, keeps his car clean.
See the 2-car top of your screen coming down. Clint Boyer has already gained a position. He's passed Clausen up in the 12th spot. Remember the scenario, if he finishes 8th or better, no matter what Carl Edwards does, he, talking about Clint Boyer, will win the championship.
He's looking a lot higher than 8th. He wants to finish in the top 5 or better here just to make sure that he's got a little cushion. He's just rocking along right now, not trying to do anything to get himself in trouble. Now here he's 2nd place, heating up with Jeff Burton right on the bumper of Carl Edwards.
This is the car we talked about that Richard Childress added to the race this week. The guy that won the race a year ago, and he's doing exactly what RC wants him to do.
He wants to put some pressure on the 60. He actually wants to see if this 29 car can get a win. He would love to get that for Jeff Burton here the last race of the year.
Looking back across and watching the Chevy just blow by on the inside.
Yeah, Carl wasn't going to press the issue right here early in the race. Let Jeff Burton go. See if there's a little something he might could learn.
Jeff Burton is scheduled to run only 12 races in 2008. This one added late. And of course, remarkably, has not won a race. He won 5 times a year ago. And as you mentioned, adding him here not only helps their championship chances, but gives him a chance to get to victory lane.
Gives him that one more chance, and he's really good here, like you said, and he's going to have a good shot today. See Denny Hamlin now sneaking in this picture with the 32 car, the yellow car behind Carl Edwards.
Hamlin not driving for Joe Gibbs here in the final race. That is the Braun Racing Toyota. There is a Joe Gibbs car. Kyle Busch going for that record, trying to become the all-time winningest driver in a single season, currently tied with the legendary Sam Ard.
He would love to break that record. I know he's had such a phenomenal year in this series.
Now, this team that Denny Hamlin's driving for here in this 32 car, they've been very impressive since they switched these over to the Toyotas. They've run with Kyle Busch.
Well, that was a close
run
call
with
there.
Denny Hamlin. That was a close call. Yeah, they've had Brian Vickers in the stable too. They've run extremely well, and it's really improved their organization to the point of being contenders pretty much week in and week out.
A moment ago, the 12 car, the young driver Justin Allgaier, who just moved over from ARCA this year to drive for Roger Penske, just had a little brush with the wall there in his Dodge.
See him up on the top side here. Yeah, ran out of racing room.
I think we're going to see some of that today. They're going to flirt with that outside groove, and there's just not quite as much grip as this track used to have right up next to the wall. It reminds you a lot of Darlington. You hear us talk about that a lot when we talk about a track where you're running right up next to the wall. This track really has aged a lot like the old Darlington was, and when you try to run that groove right next to the wall, there's just hardly any room for error.
Joey Logano out front. By the way, the 90 and 91 cars of Terry Cook and Todd Bodine have both headed to the garage area. And it is an 18-year-old leading the season finale here in the early laps at Homestead. 13 laps complete here in the Ford 300 at Homestead-Miami Speedway, and the young 18-year-old Joey Logano has led from the wave of the green flag in his Toyota up front. And the point standings there, Carl Edwards being shown 30 points out of first place right now. Edwards on the racetrack is 4th. He has actually lost 2 positions on the track, and Clint Boyer has moved up 3 from 13th to 10th.
Yeah, Carl didn't start off all that strong at the beginning of the race, but I think as you see the laps coming on the tires now, and as they run more laps, you'll see Carl Edwards start moving back to the front. Seems to be his kind of style, is when the car starts slipping and sliding, he can do it better than most.
Let's update the 2 car with Jamie Little.
Well, Doc, I'll tell you what, Clint Boyer was all smiles in his interview pre-race with Mike Massaro, but he told me earlier he watched the truck race last night and said it made him so nervous to see what was happening with Ron Hornaday and Johnny Benson. He said, I don't know if I can handle it. He's never found himself in this position in the final race. Back in 2005, he was actually in the position Carl Edwards is now and just lost the championship to Martin Truex Jr. So you imagine there's a lot of nerves behind that helmet. Dave?
Jamie, updating Carl Edwards right now, running 4th, challenging for 3rd on the inside. He'll take that spot from Denny Hamlin as they head down into turn number 3. Back picking up what Andy was talking about. The car's a little free at the start of this run, but coming to him, and they expected a couple of these cars, including Hamlin, to come back to him.
One might think, Andy, you've done this before. You know what's going to happen when the track changes, and Carl's going to be easing back by him.
Well, you just watch Carl Edwards, and his driving style is he doesn't mind slipping and sliding and steering that car to the right, and that's what happens, when you start putting laps on these tires. See right here, you got Mike Bliss and Ryan Newman in a battle. Ryan Newman moving up pretty nice here. Looks like he's got a pretty good car.
21 of Scott Wimmer back there, the other Childress car. Newman, by the way, making only his second start of the year in the Nationwide Series, and first in a Chevy for Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, that car looks awful good early in the race here. Newman's been down the bottom, able to make passes.
How about Scott Wimmer right there in that 21? He's moved up about 12 spots since the start. He's got a good car.
That's exactly what Richard Childress like to see. All three of those cars be really competitive to help out their championship cause.
Emotional weekend for Scott Wimmer. Said he drove his first race for Richard Childress Racing at this track in 2006, and today or tonight will be his final drive with these guys as he says goodbye. A couple of cars are going back behind the wall. The 52 of Brad Teague and the 31 of Kenny Hendrick have headed to the garage area. Pretty good battle surging there as they try to make a move inside the one car of Bliss. Again, that is Wimmer trying to use that bottom group.
Picking off another car here. Moving his way to the front. I love this racetrack, though. Look at these grooves. You can run all over this thing. And got that high groove. It's got a little more banking up there, and that's why it makes it a lot better, or makes it even. When these cars run that bottom line, they got a little shorter distance. But now that you got that extra banking in the top, it kind of evens things out.
Yeah, and they're battling up here in turns 3 and 4 right now. As we talked about a while ago, as they go down the front straightaway here, they're having to battle some sun issues for the time being. What's happening is turns 1 and 2 are already getting pretty much shaded over. I think that'll help these guys cause that want to run on the bottom of the racetrack, getting a lot more grip down there.
88 car, Brad Keselowski trying to make a move for 4th position by the 32 of Denny Hamlin, and he will take that spot away.
Having to squeeze in the lap car there kind of took his groove away. Hamlin able to take the spot back. Mike?
Yeah, Brad, not all that happy with his race car right now. Got on the radio real early at the drop of the green flag saying it's loose but manageable. Really looking for the car to roll the center a little bit better, but it seems like they've got some work to do before the sun goes down.
It actually might play into his hands here when the sun does go down. It looks like he's still got a pretty good car. Look at Jeff Burton now. He has run down Joey Logano. He's all over him here.
And this is what we expected Jeff Burton too. This is exactly the kind of thing that you expect, is he's going to get ready to try to take the lead. Doesn't quite get there for that lap, but Jeff Burton gets his car to handling good on old tires, and that's where this is coming into play. Dave?
Thank you, guys. Hey, now here's a handling trivia question for you, and I'll throw it to the crew chief first. Andy, he says the car is loose on the throttle, but it needs to turn better in the middle. So loose on the throttle and turning better, those are kind of together. So how do you fix that for our new leader?
Okay, here's why you do that, Dave. You fix that loose, the middle part of the corner. If you can get that thing to turn, it won't be quite as loose on the throttle. So it's kind of hard to, you think of it as being a conflict, but really if you just fix that problem and he's got through the middle of the corner, it should help that loose off.
Not good news for the competition, knowing that they're having trouble, and he's still going by and taking the lead in the race. Here's his teammate Wimmer again, still running side by side, now trying to move up and take that spot away from the 33 car of Ryan Newman. That is the 11th position.
That'll be 14 spots Scott Wimmer has made up from the start of this race.
Scott Wimmer does not have a ride for 2009, but hoping that this final race performance will get him there. Right now he's doing a heck of a job.
See Brad Keselowski still battling with Denny Hamlin for that 4th spot. He almost had him passed till he came up on a lap car just a couple of laps ago. Since then, Denny Hamlin's moved more towards the top of the racetrack, and that's where Brad had been running.
Both these drivers on the right side of your screen among the 13 that are doing double duty here, running in the NASCAR Nationwide race today and the NASCAR Sprint Cup finale here on Sunday.
Here comes Carl now on the 20 car.
Carl easing back in and moving that car up across the racetrack from the bottom where he started in the early laps.
Yeah, he'll search around this racetrack and find just where his car is going to work the best. He's not going to be satisfied to just sit there and run lap times that are not as competitive as, say, the leaders are. He'll move around and find it where his car likes to be.
Clear, all clear.
It's so valuable to have someone like Carl Edwards who doesn't push the issue, knows his car's going to come in. He's searched around and found where his car is working best right now. You can see right here, I think he moved into that second spot on that lap. So the points changed.
Clear, all clear. Good job.
Down to 24 points now. Dave?
And guys, Joey Logano just reported that his car has picked up a big push, that 20 car. Another thing about Carl Edwards, he has fun behind the wheel. He set the fastest lap time in final practice yesterday, and crew chief Drew Blickensurfer told me just after he did that, it was lap 1 of the session. He said, "Where's P1?" And Drew told him, "You, by 3.5 tenths." And Carl said, "Ooh, that was fun."
Carl Edwards has moved back to second position, but Clint Boyer is on the move as well. He's up to 9th spot. Right now, the margin just 24 points. Back in a moment.
On the Motorsports calendar tonight, Auto Club of Southern California NHRA Finals qualifying. ESPN 2 at 11 Eastern Time. Then a long day tomorrow at Homestead with all the action covered. NASCAR Now pre-race show 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Then our coverage of the race starting with NASCAR Countdown ABC at 3 Eastern. Then the NHRA Finals, ESPN 2 7 Eastern Time. Then the post-race wrap-up on NASCAR Now 10 o'clock Eastern Time Sunday night. We've got it all covered for you here on the ESPN family of networks. And from the ESPN Pit Studio, Alan Bestwick, Rusty Wallace, Brad Doherty, and Ray Evernham, caution-free so far. And just 2 leaders. Jeff Burton out in front after Joey Logano led the opening 21 laps. Starting to see the shadows grow on this racetrack. What's it going to mean?
Well, it's going to mean a lot when we go from daytime to night here. The grip level is going to come way up. The guys that are struggling early, maybe with loose cars, the nighttime should fix that. Ray, every time I used to run at this racetrack, when it cooled off, the cars got a lot faster. They handled a lot better.
Yeah, and we looked, and Carl Edwards dropped back a little bit. His car was a little bit free. Right now, though, a few laps on the tires, getting rubber down, track getting cooler. He's coming in about 8 laps. I predict Jeff Burton's going to have a little company up there for the lead.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who hit their setups. And a couple of times this year we've been to tracks that historically have gained more grip when it's gotten darker, and it just did not happen. It'll be real interesting, though, to see tonight, once it cools off, who is on their game.
Got 29 cars on the lead lap. That number going to drop as these leaders start steaming through the field. And Doc will keep an eye on Ray's prediction here. Remember, 8 more laps.
We'll watch Ray. Ray's been pretty close. He knows what he's doing out there. The 2 car now. We mentioned he started back in 13th position all the way up to 9th spot. But the margin is down to 24 points. There comes Clint Boyer. And as you look at Clint, let's talk about the tactical move his car owner made, Richard Childress, by adding the 29 car of Burton, or bringing Jeff Burton to this race. Because if he didn't have Burton in this race, it would be this guy's adversary, Carl Edwards, leading the race right now.
Well, it might be Carl Edwards anyway here in just a little bit. But right now, Burton does have a little advantage over Carl Edwards. And that's exactly why Richard did this. I mean, he's hoping that this 29 car can beat that 60 car and really help their situation. What's going on, Jamie?
Well, guys, Clint Boyer started off loose, but the sun is setting, and you know what that means. Car is tightening up, and it's getting good for Clint Boyer. Right now, he sits 9th. Remember that magic number? 8th. He has to finish 8th or better tonight to win that championship, no matter where Carl Edwards finishes. One more spot, guys.
Jamie, you got to wonder how much, DJ, how much does the driver think about that? Or does it go away when the green flag waves? You just worried about getting 1 spot at a time?
Oh, no. You're very aware of what's going on and where you need to be. You can't put it out of your mind. You talk, and I'm sure that all of us, as we were battling for our championship, say, you put it out of your mind, you just go run the race. That's not, it's impossible, I think. Everybody I've always talked to, and I know how it affected me, that's just the way it was. That's what you set out the year to do, was to win the championship. You're in that position now, so that's what's totally on your mind.
Pretty good move there by the 40-car rookie Brian Clausen, taking a spot away, that 12th spot away from Ryan Newman. And here comes the 18 car, the other Joe Gibbs car, going by his teammate Logano. So Kyle Busch now moves into 5th position.
There's Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming up behind Joey Logano also. It's like Logano's struggling a little bit with his car.
Yeah, he set a really fast pace, jumped out there early. We've heard him say that his car's gotten tight. I think that's why he was able to jump out there, because his car was a lot tighter than the rest of these guys. And so that allowed him to get out there, but now it's too tight.
A little tussle of the teammates here. 66 car, Stephen Wallace, David Strimmy in the 64 up high, as they are running 17th and 18th side by side on the track. Strimmy trying to take that spot away.
I think Rusty's probably saying this is what we strive for, is to get our cars running equal, but they'd rather have them maybe for 7th and 8th instead of 17th and 18th.
How about 1st and 2nd?
Yeah, maybe that'll come later on tonight.
Now here comes the 47 car, Andy.
Yeah, look at Kelly Byers. He has come from the back of this field and is just mowing them down right here. Goes by Mike Wallace. Now he's getting ready to pass David Strimmy.
They had an engine issue yesterday, had to go to the back of the field because of an engine change. NASCAR only allows the one engine, and back up front, here goes Cousin Carl. He becomes the 3rd leader of the day and the first time Carl has led here at Homestead-Miami.
Dale, can you see the scoreboard from the driver's seat when you go around here?
It's a tough one to see, but you can do that.
You think Clint's looking at it right now? He sees that 60 car up there. Does that put any extra pressure on you?
There's no doubt about that Clint, I'm sure if he didn't look at it, that they've made him aware of that.
Look at the point standings. 4 points now separating Clint Boyer and Carl Edwards here.
Stay smooth now. Click off some laps.
What he needs to do is click off a lot of laps up front and try to lead the most laps, and then you'll see that -4 points go to +1 because he'll get 5 bonus points for that. Dave?
And you guys alluded to something that Crew Chief Drew pointed out about his driver as well at this racetrack. He likes moving around, likes finding a line, and this right side tire that Goodyear provides makes these cars slide just a little bit, kind of like they did at Charlotte. And so it slides around. Carl likes that. He can adapt to it. And when his car came around to him, he went up there and took the lead.
And Dave, exactly what Andy was talking about, how the racetrack has come to Carl Edwards. Jamie Little.
Well, remember I reported that Clint Boyer started off too loose? It sounds like it's going the other way.
Yeah, I mean, it's just slow. No grip. Started off too loose. It's too tight now. Too big a swing. He's a 55. You were 60.
Now Mike Dillon, his spotter up top, is trying to tell him where to back up the corner, trying to help him to get the best line and most efficient grip. They said they're about 18 laps or so away from pitting, guys.
Hear a little bit of excitement in Mr. Boyer's voice there. Understandably, you know, you get to this point, you want your car to be good. That's what you expect. That's why you're in this position.
Closing in on first pit stops, and every pit stop critical here. They can make it essentially on 4 stops, so each one could determine or lose a championship. Carl Edwards, our leader here, lap 42 at Homestead. Carl Edwards has now led the last 9 consecutive laps here in the Ford 300. And you see Clint Boyer, who he's chasing in the points, is back in 9th position. The points differential began the day at 56. It is now down to 4 points. That's how far behind Carl Edwards is in trying to catch Boyer to win this championship in the season finale.
I think it just changed. Clint Boyer just got passed by another Childress car, Scott Wimmer. Now they were battling, and Boyer's back by him, but that's how close all of this is. It could change just in a matter of seconds.
Now, you won't hear anything, you know, at this point in the race, but if this was coming down to the last lap, you might think that Richard might be on the radio right here.
The guys are going to be moving in on scheduled pit stops here in a handful of laps or so, and getting on the pit road's a bit tricky here at Homestead-Miami Speedway.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. They have to get off on the access road. Okay, our points. We have a tie right now. But getting on the pit road here, you have to use the access road as you enter turn 3, and that is just totally flat. Matter of fact, it's almost off-cambered a little bit. It drops off the other way towards the grass, and it has a lot of sand on it. You can go as fast as you want around it, as fast as you can possibly try to go around, and but we've seen a lot of guys slip out into the grass, so it's going to be extremely exciting when we get to that part. Shannon?
We saw Scott Wimmer just go around Clint Boyer. Now you guys might be thinking that he might be a little bit easy on Boyer, who of course is running for a championship, but I asked the team if there was any conversation about that. They said no way. You remember, Scott Wimmer does not have a ride for next season. He's looking to show what he can do, and he's looking to win this race today.
42, the first car on the pit road. Juan Pablo Montoya in for his service.
We'll see that, and just to follow up on what Shannon's talking about. Yeah, you know, owners do things to try to help them win championships. But the great thing about our sport is you really don't get those orders like you see in some other forms of motorsports. They let the guys go out here and race, and you know, if that's what happens, that's the way that it is.
See Junior take that spot away from Kyle Busch. Running right up next to that wall. You see how high he's running in the corner? He's just staying right up next to that wall and making a lot of time.
He's making this the longest possible racetrack that you could run around here. He enters the corner of the heist and runs right against the wall, but he's flying.
Chase Miller coming down for what would be his scheduled stop in the 9 car. Others now starting to peel off. The 16th place car, the 1 car, Mike Bliss coming in.
I said on the access road they could go as fast as they want, but as they get to that commitment cone, as you enter the pits, then they have to get down to pit road speed.
Anticipating.
Making a big chassis adjustment there on the right side. See, Mike Bliss must not be too happy with his car. Gonna make an adjustment. Hope it's better here. 4 tires, 15.4, not bad.
Yeah, he had lost about 4 positions the last 5 laps of the car not turning in the corners. So they came in to make a major adjustment. We just joined our coverage. The 60 car of Carl Edwards has led now the last 14 laps. Joey Logano, the pole sitter, led the first 21 laps and was passed by Jeff Burton for the next 17. And now Carl has led the last 15. Clint Bowyer being shown back in 11th position, and the margin is now 4 points with Bowyer in second spot. Carl Edwards has taken the points lead here in the first quarter of this race.
I don't think it's a time to panic for Clint Bowyer yet. We have a lot going on here as you see Jeff Burton making his way to pit road now.
Trying to get Woe down to 45 miles an hour. Can't afford a mistake, as you heard Tim Brewer talking about. Got to have lug nuts on, got to get them full of fuel every time. Burton coming down. Kyle Busch will be coming down behind him. Let's go down to Mike.
And Kyle Busch has been complaining the car's been tight all the way around this race course. They're going to take a swing at it. They're going to go up a round and a half on the track bar. A 4-tire change. They'll also make an air pressure adjustment trying to free him up, Dave.
Jeff Burton, who led early, will get Sunoco fuel. They're not going to make a chassis adjustment, but he believes that this car needs to work better in the front end. That'll be an air pressure adjustment and 4 tires for Burton as Jeremy Clements stops in front of him, and he just clears him.
Denny Hamlin in that 32 car thinks the car is a little bit too tight, and it is rolling. That's exactly what he used to describe this number 32. They're going to make a track bar adjustment and 4 tires and fuel for Denny Hamlin, who is, of course, looking to get a victory here in this 32 car today.
In a couple of slow stops. Denny Hamlin 19.7, and Jeff Burton's 18+ second pit stop. Here comes Carl Edwards.
Boy, he really hustled that car around the access road there. Got it slowed down before he got to the commitment cone, though.
His teammate coming out in front of him there, the 6 of David Reagan. Let's go down to Dave.
Decisions and execution. The driver executes well. The decision, just a slight air pressure adjustment for a car that has really come around for our race leader and championship contender. They will take on 4 tires. Carl said it was a little bit snug, but good on the throttle, and that was a problem he had earlier. It was too free on the throttle earlier on. 4 tires, just a little bit of a weight there, and now he's gone. Jamie.
And the decision for the 2 team was to come when the leader, Carl Edwards, came. He said his car is plowing. He was pretty tight up and off the corners. Track bar adjustment, 4 tires for Clint Bowyer, who must nail these spots tonight, guys, to keep that track position.
All the way. 43. All the way to the line, Go. Now drive like you show it. Show them how to do it. Let's go.
Here's the 88 car that had assumed the lead. Brad Keselowski coming in. The junior JR Motorsports car come on by Hendrick. Oh, nearly gets out. You talked about the off-camera trying to get the car to come on to pit road. Nearly missed the entrance of pit road. Mike.
And the 88 team up on the wall awaiting Brad Keselowski. You remember his car was real loose in the early part of the run. Well, it's gotten a little bit tight on exit. They're going to go with a full fuel load, 4-tire change, no chassis adjustment, just a little bit of an air pressure adjustment trying to correct that car. But as Andy mentioned earlier, they may be banking on the sun going down to really bring this car to life.
Dale Jr. in the 5, hasn't raced here since 2006. He said he's just a bit too tight. They were going to make a track bar adjustment as well. 4 tires for Dale Earnhardt Jr. down and away, guys.
Junior away. Here's the rookie Brian Clausen coming in now for his first pit stop under competition at Homestead-Miami as a full-time nationwide driver. Shannon.
Well, Brian Clausen looking to tie up that Rookie of the Year status. He was 6 points behind Landon Castle, who is not in this race. He was saying earlier in the run that the car was loose. Looks like those guys are going to give the 40 car 4 tires for Landon Castle and get him out. Great pit stop as he gets a little trouble getting off pit road. Jamie.
One of the best runs of the day so far is the 47 car. Kelly Byers had to drop to the back of the field because he was in a backup engine. They've had problems all weekend. He started in the back, worked his way up to 20th. He said they're going to take 4 tires and fuel for the 47. A little bit tight. He needs more grip for Kelly Byers, guys.
Byers had made a great run from the back of the pack. Now here's the 66 coming back in for a pass-through penalty for a tire violation on that pit stop. And we can show you the penalty from the crew cam on the 38 car. Looking up, you'll see the tire rolling away.
Yeah, that tire has to be on the inside half of the pit box before the car leaves the pit stall. You have to control that tire before that car can leave. Now they're trying to get together here to figure out what happened. Here comes third. This is a third-place battle with Brad Keselowski passing Jeff Burton.
So with the recycling of the pit stops, it is now Carl Edwards back up front, then Kyle Busch, and then these two here, the 88 and 29, third and fourth.
Jeff Burton had a slow stop, and it's cost him a little time on the racetrack, and now another spot here to Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, Carl Edwards has almost a 5-second lead now. He's within 2 laps of being the lap leader for the day.
No points differential whatsoever. You see the top of the ticker there underneath the running ticker. You see there is no points differential between Edwards and Boyer. They are tied. Now Edwards would own the tiebreaker by virtue of total wins if they were to finish tied here at the end of the night. Let's go over the wall with John Busolo, who's the front tire carrier for Bobby Hamilton Jr., and listen in and watch during the pit stop.
All right. I see him in sights. 4 tires of fuel. Let's get out there and get this done. To the right side. 5 all. Ready for the index. Index. Get the tire. Back to the wall. Left side. Wait for Richard. Pull it. Press tire on. Get the grip screen real good. Let's go. Yeah. All right, guys. All right.
The frenetic pace all taking place on pit road under 13 seconds to get 4 tires on. A championship to be decided between these two guys. Right now they are tied, deadlocked, even at the top. Under caution for the first time tonight here at the Ford 300 Homestead-Miami Speedway. We'll show you what brought out the yellow flag.
See the 03 car get in the corner here and get too high, get up against the wall, scrapes it all the way around. See some pieces flying off of the car, so NASCAR threw the caution to make sure there's no metal on the track.
Under the yellow, our lucky dog is the 7 car. The Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass goes to Mike Wallace. He was the first driver 1 lap down, and now he will get back on the lead lap, giving us 19 cars on the lead lap.
Most of these guys did not pit. You see all the leaders out here. Carl Edwards, see Denny Hamlin, and actually see Kyle Busch. Denny Hamlin's further back. They stayed out, but we saw some of the cars from the back part of the field come in on the lead lap.
Let's visit with our in-race reporter, Carl Edwards up front. If you just joined our coverage, Carl came in with a 56-point deficit on the 2 car of Clint Boyer.
Carl, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN, got me?
I got you, Dale.
Well, looks like everything's going your way so far.
Yeah, it's going great. I just saw up on the scoreboard there we're tied for points right now, so I guess we just got to keep doing what we're doing and hope for the best here.
Hey, has the racetrack already started to change as far as grip level?
Yeah, it has. It's changed just a little bit, and I'm hoping that we can keep up with it. I think this car is going to come to me a little more. Seems pretty good on the long run, and that short run right there, they were pretty good. So, yeah, just enjoying it.
Okay, Carl, thanks. Good luck.
Thanks, Dale.
Carl has removed some tape inside the car he was using for that screening from all the sun now going down, where he was blinded by the sun coming down the straightaway.
Saw when the race started, he has tape all over this car, all down the windshield, all up on the dash. And now he's going to work. He's got a caution now. He can take some of this stuff off of here and doesn't need it anymore.
Yes, biggest problem now is getting it off his gloves.
Dave?
And one other interesting note, right before the race started, Carl said, hey, some notes for next year, if we race it this time, right here, the back window needs some tape too. I know that's hard to get to, but just make a note of it.
I'd like to see him try to pull that off the back window, Dave.
Exactly. He wouldn't be able to reach that, except maybe with that pole that he used to clean the windshield at Montreal.
Oh, yeah, he'll use whatever he has to. You got to be able to see, especially when you're running these high lines and so close to the wall. That vision is so critical.
Yeah, and what he's talking about with the back window is when he's looking in his mirror to see the cars, and whenever he's clearing himself there, that glare on the back window won't allow him to see out the back until the sun goes down.
Aerial coverage from high above Homestead-Miami Speedway, brought to you by our good friends at Goodyear. Get there on solid armor technology with the strength of Kevlar for toughness and a comfortable ride. Let's check in on the 2 car back in 10th position. Jamie.
Doc, Clint Boyer, not a happy camper right now, sitting 10th. He said he's just too loose on entry, and he gets tight the deeper the run. He said, I just can't get going. I'm not fast. You guys need to keep me updated on what's going on with the front of the pack and help me out. So look for an air pressure adjustment perhaps on the next stop and see if this car can get better for Clint Boyer.
Too loose on entry, struggling in the middle of the corner, and very concerned about what's happening at the front of the field.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I think Clint is really concerned about his car not being quite good enough to get up in the top 5 where he would be comfortable. When you're sitting outside the spot you need to be in, it's just nerve-wracking, and I think you can see that in his voice and what he's saying to his crew.
Yeah, and he also knows that there's a few cars behind him. Jamie McMurray there, Jason Leffler, Brian Clausen, Ryan Newman, that have pretty good race cars, and they don't get his any better, and they're going to have limited number of pit stops to make it better because of the limited amount of tires that they have.
Carl Edwards is now the race leader and the points leader by 5 points here over Clint Boyer. Getting set for the restart, so let's listen into the spotters as we go full throttle.
Nice smooth shift here, ready. Pace car's all gone. We're ready. Almost ready, almost there. He's going, he's going, he's going. We left everybody up there. Just at 64 when you get there. Still there. For corner here. Looking. Clear, you're clear. Clear low, still got lappers down there, Watch this other 3 back to the 18, 29 right there with you here. Still there, clear low, clear low. 2 back. Still there, still there. Clear low, clear low. Clear, clear, clear. Racing. Clear about 4 back here. Still outside. All clear, bud, all clear. Good job. For now. Clear by 5, 18.
That is Kyle Busch, the 18 car that's moving in. He has gone by the lap car of David Strimmy in 20th position. And Carl Edwards can ill afford to let Kyle Busch get by here because he needs to lead the most laps. Pretty good battle, 3 wide back here. Hamlin on the bottom of the racetrack.
And Denny Hamlin making a move here with these good tires on his car. We've seen him fade just a little bit when they get a few laps on him, but and Dale Jr., his car kind of comes around after he runs a few laps.
See if Kyle Busch can get a run on the bottom of the track. Remember, it took Carl's car a little bit to come to him early on, but the track is now changing.
Yeah, in normal circumstances, Carl would probably let Kyle Busch go here and lead this thing, but tonight he needs to lead the most laps. He's not going to let him just go by. He's not going to give it to him. Now he'll race him hard for it, and if Kyle Busch can get it, he'll get it. But it won't be easy for him.
Yeah, this is the last race. This is a different circumstance. We see Clint Boyer trying to make a little pressure here too. He made up 1 spot. Now he's trying to get 2 more spots in 1 lap.
Boyer up to 8th position, going by the 20 car, back and forth around the 20, trying to hold the position. There's David Reagan above him in the 6.
That's a nice move for Clint. Now he's moved up into the 7th spot. Now he's getting passed back by David Reagan. Just needs to be careful not to put himself in a bad situation right here.
No, but I think that the racetrack's kind of playing into his hands right now. It's just cooling down quite a bit. What he was fighting seemed like the bottom of the racetrack wasn't the best place to be earlier in the race, but now there's a lot more grip down there. There's less banking there, so you have to have the coolness of the track to give you that grip.
That's as far up as Clint Boyer has been in the field thus far tonight. Started back in 13th, got to 10th, and now moving to 7th. Kyle Busch will once again go downstairs and try to take the front spot away from Carl Edwards.
Yeah, like I said, he might get it, but he's going to have a fight on his hands for it.
I believe he might get him here, though, but Carl's going to make him earn it. He knows making that pass on the bottom side is not an easy thing to do. See Carl will fight back on the outside here, keeping that momentum and translate in some straightaway speed. Oh, great battle.
Carl just wants to see it hold on as long as possible. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. 4 wide down the backstretch.
Logano in the 20 car. 33 is Newman. There's Stephen Wallace.
Again. Just be smart here and use your line.
Goodness gracious.
Montoya in the 42. There's Wimmer in the 21. Racing all over this racetrack at Homestead-Miami. One in the 47, Kelly Byers, has come from the back of the pack, and the one of Bliss, they are 16th and 17th.
Riding with Mike Wallace, he's in this mix too. You see him trying to drive under Mike Bliss. Mike Bliss is also on the inside of Scott Lagasse. Height racing.
$11 cars, Lagasse, the one you were talking about. The 59 car, Marcus Ambrose, has been struggling a little bit. Somewhat of a surprise. He is 2 laps down in 31st position. Ryan Newman in the 33 car, driving for Kevin Harvick. In front of the 20 car of Logano. That is Jensen.
Yellow's out in the backstretch. Here, watch him.
Oh, that's Jeff Burton.
Big pack coming at you. I just lost it, guys. I'm sorry.
Now with that spin by the 29 car in contact with the wall, Clint Boyer will actually move up 1 more position.
I just got away from me.
Heard Jeff Burton say it got away from him. That's very uncharacteristic of Jeff Burton to lose one. Man.
Pat Smith there talking to Jeff. Wife Kim watching anxiously on the monitor.
Sorry, guys.
But it shows just how much on the edge these guys have to drive these cars to get speed. You can see Jeff was running the high line, just got away from him. He corrects it. Looks like he's got it under control, but all of a sudden snaps back. Hard hit into the outside wall.
See Denny Hamlin taking evasive action as well as the rest of the field.
Yeah, he's sitting in a bad spot right there. Guys did a great job of avoiding him.
That just shows you how close the edge these guys run, man. Just no room for error there.
No, there sure isn't.
Try and stay right there. You got a big pack coming in.
Over 160 miles an hour, contact with the concrete, and it can damage your car in a hurry as Burton heads back to the garage area.
Yeah, they're going to be on pit road here. Kyle Busch had taken the lead from Carl Edwards, so he's going to be the first one on pit road here.
Here they come, slowing down at 45 miles an hour. Let's go down to our Castrol GTX triple pits. Mike Massaro.
And Kyle Busch pretty happy with his race car. He says, though, the big problem, he's a little bit free in. He can't really get into the corner the way he wants. But he told Joe Weidman what he wants done to the race car. He said, leave it alone, and let's see how this thing responds with just 4 stickers. That's what they'll do. Jamie?
What a difference 10 laps made for the 2-car Clint Boyer. He said, my car is good now. So you guys, now that we have track position, just put stickers on it. They're going to make a small air pressure adjustment on the left rear. Other than that, 2 cars good, Dave.
Carl Edwards' car very good. He will get Sunoco fuel in it. They will take 4 tires on, just a slight air pressure adjustment. Nothing big so far. Race leader coming in. He will be passed leaving pit road.
Tire strategy puts cars off of pit road in front of Carl Edwards. Keselowski gains 2. You see Mike Wallace up 11 spots. Kyle Busch back 5 positions. The Aaron's lucky dog is the 64 car of David Strimmy, who was pedaling hard to be able to get back on the lead lap. Now he will be the 20th car on the lead lap when we go back to green flag racing in a moment.
The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup concludes tomorrow here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway with the Ford 400. Jimmy Johnson poised to claim a third consecutive championship, history tying. Only been done once before in the 60-year history of NASCAR. You can see it starting with NASCAR Countdown. The Ford 400 from Homestead-Miami Speedway, ABC, tomorrow at 3 Eastern Time. So a little strategy is shuffled up the field, and now Carl Edwards is going to be back 10th in line for this restart. Clint Boyer 14th for the restart after some other teams did a little strategy there.
No, a lot of two-tire strategy going on. A lot of things are changing around right now. And another thing, it's getting much cooler out there, so the cars are really going to change a lot, guys.
And we saw how much track position makes a difference here, and we did see two tires work a little bit last night in a truck race, so a lot of different strategy.
Both of these guys seem to have more grip in their race cars, so it's going to be interesting to see if they advance together through the field. Clint Boyer is going to hook onto the back end of Carl Edwards and try to stay as close as he can for this next run.
All I can think of is how agonizing this has got to be for the guys behind the wheel and the crew chiefs on top of the pit box watching this thing go up, down, inside out, backwards as this race unfolds for these next 120 laps, Doc.
Very agonizing for a championship. It's been a long 10-month, 34-race season. Right now, Carl Edwards back in 10th position and Boyer back in 14th. Now, the reason for the caution, the spin by the 29 car of Jeff Burton. Mike.
And the Holiday Inn team continuing to work on the 29 car. Jeff, what happened?
Driver not very smart. We were really loose on that set of tires, which is what we fought all weekend. We were either going to be really good on long runs or good on short runs, and so we put our long run stuff in there, and I was really loose on new tires, and I just overstepped my bounds. It's you know, trying to make lap time, trying to catch the 88 and get back up to those guys up front, and just drove over my head and lost it.
Well, guys, they're working on the car. Looks like there's a little bit of radiator damage and maybe some other cosmetic damage. They're looking to try to get that car back out on the track. Doc?
Fourth winningest driver in NASCAR nationwide history, Jeff Burton, 27 victories. His last win came in this race right here a year ago, now with the damage to Chevy in the garage area. Top three cars did not come on the pit road, that they will lead them down to the green flag. Newman, Montoya, and Byers. What about our championship contenders? There is Edwards in 10th spot, Boyer back in 14th. The separation 33 points now, Edwards behind the two car in the point standings.
Yeah, as far back as Edwards seems to be in 10th, I can assure you that Clint Boyer looks up through there and he's thinking, oh my gosh, how did I get back in this position again?
Yeah,
you know, you're talking about 14th, that's literally 28th almost, because you've got lap cars down on the inside.
Yeah, both these guys are going to have some racing to do right here on this restart.
Coming down for the green flag, 18 laps away from the halfway point here in the season finale to crowning a champion for the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
That's Ryan Newman out front right now, and see Montoya go to the inside trying to take the lead away.
Montoya in the 42 car, making only his second nationwide start of the year. Look at Newman just go roaring by on the high side.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. kind of decided who was going to win that little battle.
Again, the pit strategy a moment ago. The 7 car of Mike Wallace, the 1 of Bliss taking gas only. The 17 and 88 taking 2 tires.
Look at Carl Edwards in this. At least 3 wide, if not 4 here.
Kyle Busch in the middle of that sandwich. Let's see if Carl will follow him through.
Look at Kyle Busch drive that car down in the corner.
Make it stick. See David Reagan go to the top side. It's Jamie McMurray.
Three teammates right here all together.
Wow, that's 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And now Reagan goes right in behind his teammate Carl Edwards.
Their second spot, Kelly Byers going by Juan Montoya, as well as Keselowski.
Man, what a great race Kelly Byers has run so far.
But all the racing all over the racetrack has been incredible tonight.
Back to this pack here, the 18 car of Kyle Busch on the inside of the 99, David Rudiman.
That is for position.
That's 5th spot.
5th spot.
That's 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th on the screen. Again, a couple of young drivers up front, Keselowski and Kelly Byers. News that Kelly Byers may not have a full-time ride in 2009, so nothing motivates your driver more to show your stuff than looking for a place to go.
A little audition on the racetrack. Here comes Kyle Busch. You see him just fly down in the corner. His 4 tires are a big help also.
Yeah, it takes that 4th spot away from Montoya, who had pitted on the previous caution. I think that's why they stayed out. Here comes Carl Edwards, the inside of David Ruderman.
While all this is going on, Clint Boyer's in 12th spot. That's Edwards. They're fighting for 6th.
Show you back where Boyer, there comes Boyer's car in 12th position. The 2 car back behind the 7 of Mike Wallace and in front of the 20 of Joey Logano.
Carl Edwards can just, just forget about being careful. Just go to the front. He doesn't have to worry about anything. On the other hand, Clint Boyer needs to just make sure he doesn't make a mistake in this situation, because this is kind of a testy part of the race when you've got these guys on different strategies.
Extremely important to show more patience than you've ever shown before in this situation right here if you're Clint Boyer. You see Carl Edwards trying to pick up another spot here.
This would be for 5th position. Dave.
And guys, he's having to use both the top and the low groove on this racetrack. Drew Blickensderfer, his crew chief, told me that he was very good in the high line. In fact, told him in final practice he didn't think he could get it any better in the high line, but a little tough passing on the low side. As we see our leaders battling as well. Carl will take that spot. Kyle Busch side by side for the lead.
Third position, Kyle Busch. Remember, if you just joined our coverage, Kyle Busch trying to chase history as well. Remember, he tied the legendary Sam Ard with his 10th win in the season a few weeks ago, and now trying to become the all-time winningest driver in a single season in NASCAR nationwide history.
Yeah, and that might be Carl Edwards' biggest problem in trying to win this race tonight. Is that's Kyle Busch.
How about Ryan Newman here? He didn't even make a pit stop using that track position. We got a problem off turn 4. Michael Annett also brought out this earlier caution. He's in another one here.
Caution for the 3rd time a day. See, Michael's Toyota has some scrapes already on the right side from that earlier contact with the concrete. Gets it fired, won't pull away, but we will slow the field down and the pace car will come back out.
See, he had been into the wall up there one time, and he was trying to stay out at that time. Kind of gave a tug on the wheel, and the back end jumped out from under him. Didn't hit anything, though.
On it first because they're flat, and then we'll come back and keep fixing it. This is going to be a quick one because there ain't no stuff, so we got to go, boys.
See, all 4 tires are flat from the spin.
There have been 8 different leaders, 8 lead changes. There's our current leader, the 33 car, Ryan Newman, driving for Kevin Harvick. Ryan, by the way, the only driver ever to win this race from the pole. And NASCAR Nationwide Series history, did it here in 2005.
The last time Ryan Newman was on pit road was on lap 66, so we'll see if he comes down pit road.
Yeah, he and Kelly Byers stayed on the racetrack, as did the 42 of Montoya on that previous caution flag.
They're not looking towards pit road so far. The leaders aren't. You can see it's open, the green flag waving.
So no takers, so we'll take a break. Under caution here for the 3rd time tonight, just 9 laps away from the halfway point.
How much longer will it be?
Saturday night, ABC delivers college football regional action. Most of the nation will see Boston College, the Eagles, taking on the 19th ranked Florida State Seminoles. As Bobby Bowden goes for yet another ACC title, the rest of the nation, a Big 12 matchup. Oklahoma State taking on the Buffaloes of Colorado. Saturday night football presented by Southwest Airlines on ABC tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Let's listen into the radio of the 2 car of Clint Boyer.
I hit my fender on damn a little bit right front. All right, when you come down the front stretch, if your pull is low, I'll check it out for you.
See, these guys were racing really tight here, 3 wide, coming off the corner. You see Stephen Wallace just up on the outside of Clint Boyer. Say they don't have a lot of room, 3 wide. You see this little contact. It's not good. You don't want to. Those fenders are real fragile.
All right, now I'll tell you guys, it doesn't look like a lot, but it is a little bit, and the front downforce makes a big difference. And you already heard him say that his car was tight. So if that fender's been moved in a ½ inch, or even looks like it's been moved in more than a ½ inch, he's going to feel that, and it's going to help the right front tire. It's going to build up more pressure, and his car's going to get tighter.
Yeah, that's the wrong direction, Ray. You're right. If he's already tight, that's going to aggravate that problem.
He's also going in the wrong direction in terms of the points lead he had coming in. He had a 56-point lead coming in, and right now, DJ, it is 18 points between him and Carl Edwards. Edwards 5th on the racetrack, Bowyer back in 12th position.
Yeah, and these are just the most tense moments for Clint Bowyer right now. On these restarts, around all of these cars, it's just, you have to be extremely careful and extremely patient.
Points up there, just 18 separating Clint and Carl. Again, Carl Edwards won the title a year ago. Clint Bowyer trying to get it for the first time in his career.
There's Kevin Harvick up on the pit box. His car leading the race. He's got to be feeling pretty good tonight.
Kevin's wife, Delana, back behind him. Chrissy Newman back there. Ryan's wife. Ryan, who drove Kevin Harvick's truck for the first time at Atlanta a couple weeks ago. And what did he do? Went to victory lane.
That's right. Won the race. Man was ready to go on that restart.
Yeah, he had hammer down right there. In the gas. About a 8 or 10 car length lead.
Carl Edwards climbing down on the inside, going to try to make a move, getting boxed in a little bit there.
Kind of tight quarters right there. He wanted to make it 3 wide, but the 12 car didn't give him quite enough room to do that, so he'll have to wait another corner to try to pass Kelly Byers for that 4th spot.
Up ahead of these guys, you can see him racing 3 wide.
Kyle Busch is taking over the 2nd spot from Brad Keselowski. Telling you, Kyle Busch may be the reason that Carl Edwards doesn't win this championship, because he may keep him from leading the most laps and getting the victory. And if Clint Bowyer can finish in the top 10, that might just be the difference.
Right now, Kyle Busch has only led 3 laps, and Edwards has led the most laps. He has led twice for 32 laps, but there's still plenty of laps to run.
I think Kyle has his sights set on that 33 car up there pretty shortly.
Clint Bowyer digging on the bottom of the racetrack, back in 11th position.
He's gained a couple, or gained 1 spot. Looking for some more here.
Battle for 8th position, the 6 car, David Reagan, the 99 car, who's the Cup pole sitter for Sunday, David Rudiman.
Rudiman didn't have a good qualifying spot here. It didn't get the lap that he wanted, but he's making a nice run here in the race. Shannon, what's David saying?
Well, he's not very happy with the car. Actually, he says getting into the turns is very tricky. He says he has to be very careful, and they made a lot of changes on this car so far in this race. On the first pit stop track bar, they've also made some wedge adjustments. But guys, he's been on those tires since lap 65, did not come down and pit on lap 78. Certainly David Rudiman would love to end this season on a high note.
Up front, here comes Kyle Busch. Toyota on the inside of the Chevy of Ryan Newman. DJ, you may have called it. Kyle says I can get up there and lead a bunch of laps. Not only will I make history with my 11th win of the year, but I can maybe have a major impact on who wins this championship.
I think he's more interested in winning the race and making history for himself than he is on this championship. Look at this battle right here. Ryan Newman racing hard for this lead.
Let's see him get the nice run off of turn 2 and down the backstretch. Actually give Kyle a little bit of a bump before they got to turn 3. Jamie?
Well, the great thing about both drivers running up front, they have nothing to lose. They're going for the win. Ryan Newman making his first start for Kevin Harvick. Now, this is how he got to the front. He started 19th. He said he was free in and he couldn't run up high. They last pitted at lap 66, made a track bar adjustment. That car came to life, guys. So he's on a little bit of a different strategy as you see a battle with the 2 car to the right.
That's for 9th position, Jamie. Rudiman in 9th spot, Bowyer in 10th. And every single position critical for the 2 car of Clint Bowyer.
He's doing what he needs to do right now. He's moving forward. He's almost to that spot that he needs to be in. That put him in the 9th spot. Next car he's got on his list will be the 42 of Montoya.
Lead lap cars there in action, the 21, 32, and 5. That's 13th, 14th, and 15th. Wimmer, Hamlin, and Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, these guys had fallen back on those last pit stops where they got 4 tires and gotten themselves back in traffic.
Whoa, got some contact. In the wall goes Legacy.
Got popped from behind by Hamlin and heavy damage now. Car's trying to get Woe done. A Legacy has no way to steer that car.
Man, our guy in the blimp was all over that one. He's on the right battle. Man, too bad for Scott Legacy.
Good. 66 got you, man.
Fourth caution flag of the night. Might have gotten some erroneous information on the radio a moment ago, but the 11 car, little touch from behind. Let's see if we can see exactly what happened. Now watch the 32 coming up behind Legacy. Whoops.
Well, yeah, you see some contact with Stephen Wallace, and then Denny Hamlin has really nowhere to go but into the back of the 11 car. Turns him right straight in the wall.
So it was Wallace in the 11 initiated the contact.
Yeah, there really wasn't much Denny Hamlin could do in that situation. He's going down the straightaway, and that's where he's supposed to be wide open.
Sorry, bud. Keep going, come to the bottom, come to the bottom. Keep coming, come outside. Good job, good job.
Now the guy you were bragging on, Andy, the blimp camera guy.
Yeah, he was all over this one here. You see the battle with Stephen Wallace and Legacy, and they just get together. And Hamlin just can't quite react quick enough to keep from getting in the back of the 11 car.
A couple of drivers battling a lap down for position on the racetrack. Wallace and those guys being shown back in 23rd and 4th position. Scott Legacy climbing out. His plans are to run full time in 2009 for Rookie of the Year. This was to be his 7th and final race to hold the rookie status open. Here they come.
You see Kyle Busch stayed on the racetrack. And here you go. You got Ryan Newman, Brad Keselowski, Carl Edwards, Kelly Byers, all these guys coming down pit road. Jamie McMurray trying to dodge the sweeper truck.
Remember, Newman and Byers had not pitted since lap 66. They desperately need to come on and get some fresh rubber. Let's go down to Jamie Little.
And you ride along with Clint Boyer in the 2 in the middle. He actually said something I never hear him say. I like it, just like that, boys. She's pretty good. They're going to take 4 tires because Dan Deringhoff, his crew chief, reminded him they're not going to make it to the end. So the 2 car happy with his car, and up above you see the 33, Ryan Newman. He said he needs to be just a little bit tighter. You saw that car come to life. Going to make an air pressure adjustment. Track bar, 4 tires. Dave?
Bottom of your screen, Carl Edwards gives up 4th place for 2 tires and Sunoco fuel.
So a bit of tire strategy there.
Yeah, you see these guys getting 2 tires and getting off pit road quick.
Like these guys
gained 11 spots.
So here they are coming off pit road. The 2 points contenders taking 2 tires. Like they might have saw what happened. They were able to see what happened in the truck race here on Friday night. 2 tires worked for the guy who won the championship.
Remix. At the Ford 300 Homestead-Miami Speedway, you can see a lot of oil dry has been put down in turn 1. We're going to be under caution for another lap or so while they get that cleaned up. Very interesting strategy has just played out on this most recent set of pit stops. Let's talk about it with just a minute with Rusty, Brad, and Ray. First of all, Kyle Busch not stopping?
Yeah,
Kind of surprised
he's locked himself into having to pit twice. Right now, everybody else has got that pitted then only has to pit 1 more time. So Kyle's got to be, he must be looking at his caution history and knowing there's going to be more times to pit. But he's locked himself into pitting 2 more times.
Right, there's been a lot of cautions, though. I really think that it's not a bad move. We looked at Ryan Newman. Ryan Newman stayed out there and it worked out good for him. From my calculations, it looks like the 18 car can run about 38 to 40 laps still. And it worked pretty good for Ryan Newman. Newman was out there holding that track position. Probably not a bad call. Probably relying on another caution yet.
David Reagan also didn't pit. How about Carl Edwards and Clint Boyer going for 2 tires?
Both went for 2 tires. I think that Clint Boyer is trying to mirror everything that Carl Edwards does. He's trying to stay with him every run. He's going to make sure when they get in their last run, if there's another caution, he's right there with him.
Lined up 3rd and 4th are Edwards and Boyer respectively. Have a look now at our nationwide insurance race rundown. What's unfolded in the first half of this thing? Well, Carl Edwards tried real hard to lead the first lap. Joey Logano beat him to that. Jeff Burton went to the point. Then Edwards Edwards got out front. He, so far, has led the most laps in this race, but he doesn't have a whole big pad where that's concerned. That transition to darkness has begun to happen.
It really is. You notice the cars that were loose in the beginning are the cars that are running fast lap times now, and there's a lot more grip on the track. The guys that were tight are going to continue to be tight. They've got to free their cars up.
And one that was loose that got away from him was Jeff Burton. Kyle Busch looking for that record-setting 11th win.
Surprise, surprise. Kyle Busch is right in the mix of things. He's up front leading the race right now. He looks like he's charging towards that 11th win.
Well, this racetrack's changing a whole lot right now, but I think now it's pretty well steady state, so these guys should be able to adjust on this surface. I think the temperature's not going to cool down much at all now, guys.
So as they run under the caution, Kyle Busch is the leader, David Reagan is second. Both those drivers did not pit under the yellow. Edwards and Boyer third and fourth. The championship still hanging in the balance with 94 laps to go.
Less than 2 laps to go to the green flag here at the Ford 300 at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Under caution for the 4th time today. Scott Lagasse, by the way, checked out and released. Let's visit with our in-race reporter, Carl Edwards, who's running 3rd.
Carl, Dale Jarrett for ESPN. You have a copy?
I got you, Dale.
Well, looks like a little strategy being played out there with the 2 tires. Was that mainly because you needed fuel and keep you out of that hornet's nest back in the back there?
Yeah, that's what Drew's probably figuring there, you know. And we got a real good race car. This thing's real good, so we don't want to get behind on fuel if we get another one of those long runs, long green runs. You know, it looks like you know, Clint's just kind of doing what we're doing, which is smart. He's hanging tough, so you know, if we get a long run here, I think this car is pretty good.
Your car, you say it's good. Is it good enough for that 18?
Yeah, not on the short run, but I'm almost certain it is on the long run. That thing's fast, and you know, and he definitely does a good job. But I think we can beat him. We were faster than him that first run, and I think the long run will suit us.
Okay, thanks for talking with us, Carl.
Thanks, Dave.
NASCAR's added a lap because a lot of speedy dry on the racetrack with the contact there on the backstretch and the heavy impact with Scott Lagasse. Let's visit with Scott. Janet.
Doc, Scott Lagasse was running 24th when that contact happened. Are you all right? And can you, I know you haven't been able to see the replay, but can you tell us what happened from your perspective?
I have no idea what happened. I got to thank Rick and Cheryl from America's Incredible Pizza Company and Tony and Brian Mullet for giving me this opportunity. We really tight all week, and we brought a different car here just to try something before the year's out because we're just in test mode for the last 7 races, and really tight all weekend. And they just made an adjustment there, was making it better, and got held up there by some cars in front of us, and just kind of trying to go forward and, you know, get the lap back and get racing again and just run over on the straightaway. I don't know. I got to see the replay because I'm still puzzled. You know, I really have the utmost respect for Rusty Wallace, and I love going to him for advice when I can, and you know, he's really open about it, and you know, Steve and I have a good relationship, so I'm puzzled. Who knows?
All right, good news is Scott Lagasse is solidly in the top 30 in the points, so going into Daytona, he will be in that race. Doc?
And running for Rookie of the Year in 2009, he'll have a good shot at it. Kyle Busch chasing history is our leader. 2 drivers chasing championship. Edwards and Boyer back in 3rd and 4th. Back at Homestead-Miami Speedway, season finale for the NASCAR Nationwide Series for the Ford 300. Kyle Busch is our leader. David Reagan. Both these cars stayed on the racetrack under this 4th yellow flag. Edwards and Boyer, as you've heard, came on for only 2 tires.
Turn the lights back on the safety car here to go another lap. They've got a tremendous amount of speedy dry and fluid down in turn 1. They're trying to get cleaned up.
Let's listen in on the 2 radio of Clint Boyer.
They're not going to blow that off against the wall. They want y'all to run through it. You're going to have to blow it off, man. It's out of control. This getting into 1's really bad, too. It ain't dry yet. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he sees that strip. It's a lot of speedy dry, and you can see the fluid that they're trying to clean up actually bleed through the speedy dry. So it's going to maybe even change the racing groove just a little bit getting into turn 1.
I was going to ask you about that. All that speedy dry down in the turn, and DJ, you're just hauling into that turn in turn 1 at 160 miles an hour. How much can you adjust the groove?
You just drive where you don't see that speedy drive is the biggest thing. It was going to make for an interesting restart if they were going to go right there.
but these guys, you can see the higher line is going to be the one that these guys are going to choose for the time being. But you get to racing 2 and 3 wide, you can't always see that. So you kind of have to adjust and be ready for anything.
And that's the other thing. Just the vision from that speedy drive is going to create a cloud for a lap or two.
We are less than 90 laps away from crowning a champion. Seems like Carl Edwards pretty relaxed, but Clint pins and needles a little bit.
Yeah, kind of up on the chip just a little bit. He's wanting everything to go his way. He's worked extremely hard to get himself and his race team in this position, and they want everything to be perfect whenever they go in these last 90 laps trying to win that championship. And Carl's got nothing to lose. You know, he was way behind, thought he was out of it. Here he is having a chance to win it.
We mentioned Kyle Busch did not pit. What's the pit strategy there in the 18 car, Mike?
Well, Doc, I climbed up to the pit box, talked to Joel Weidman. He seems to think the best strategy here is to save as many sticker tires as he possibly can for the end of this race. He has 2 sets available. Only 14 laps before this caution came out were on these tires. He wants to save these, so certainly wants to make the best of this. This could be his last race as a crew chief. Keep in mind, Jason Ratcliffe could come back at the beginning of 2009. If that happens, well, Joel Weidman thinks he'll just go back to the shop and become an engineer again. So he wants to go out on a very high note.
Couldn't have a better note than that, going out on a record-setting performance for Kyle Busch.
Here he gets the green, and the fans are standing on their feet to watch this thing getting into one. You can see all the speedy dry kicking up.
Clint Boyer looking right out his front window at the guy that's been chasing in for the championship. Here goes Carl Edwards for second position.
Carl has right side tires on here. Should be a pretty good size advantage for a few laps here at least.
We'll see how this strategy works out for the 18 team. I'm not sure that having an extra set of tires late in this race is going to be an advantage, because you almost can't quite give up that track position for tires. You think you just want to stay out front, so be reluctant to pit late anyway. Another caution is out.
Yep. Debris down the back, they're saying. Debris on the back. Watch it.
You see a piece of metal right there on the back stretch, get into 3.
Caution now for the 5th time tonight. We've had 5 cautions now for a total of 24 laps.
This should be a quick caution. They're going down here and grab this piece of metal.
28 car will get the free pass and be able to get back on the lead lap. Kenny Wallace, and that will give us now 22 cars on the lead lap. Back at Homestead-Miami, Kyle Busch, the bottom of your screen, he is our leader and has now led 21 laps, and above him the 2 points contenders, Carl Edwards and Clint Boyer, running in 2nd and 4th position. The differential between those two now down to 36 points. Boyer has a slim lead, and now, but Carl Edwards is going to try to get around that 18 car and make sure he can lead the most laps. Lots of motorsports yet to come your way. Later tonight, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, Automobile Club of Southern California NHRA qualifying. And then tomorrow we begin our coverage with NASCAR Now at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. And then the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Ford 400 season finale. We will crown the NASCAR Sprint Cup champion here at Homestead-Miami, 3 Eastern Time on ABC. And then NHRA Final, 7 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN2. And NASCAR Now at 10 Eastern Time, wrapping up the whole weekend, the championship weekend here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Getting set for the green flag. What a weekend for these drivers. Carl Edwards trying to win 2 titles. And by the way, in the Owners Championship, very tight battle among the 3 owners. Right now it is a virtual dead heat between the 20 and the 2 car. 20 car of Joe Gibbs Racing and the 2 car of Clint Boyer. That is for the Owners Championship here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Pace car pulls away. Kyle Busch will lead him down. And we'll see what Carl Edwards can do with him. He's going to try to make that jump. Well, Busch gets a nice jump.
And we've seen this all year long when Kyle Busch has been the leader. Really can get up through the gears and get that car stretched out a little bit for a little bit of a lead over Carl Edwards. Clint Boyer trying to get the 3rd spot away from David Reagan.
Remember Kyle Busch chasing history, trying to become the first driver to win 11 races in a single season, now tied with the legendary Sam Ard. He tied Sam with his 10th victory just a couple of weeks ago at Texas.
He's not going to be able to zoom by Kyle Busch. He's going to have to race a while. We've seen that even though Kyle Busch doesn't have new tires on. It's taken Carl Edwards a few laps for his car to really come around. I know he does have right side tires right here and has a little more advantage over Kyle Busch.
Update Clint Bowyer. Jamie.
As he closes in on David Reagan in the 6th, Clint Bowyer says, "This is the best we've been. We're good, guys," as he drops to the low line.
By far the best laps he has run tonight, and Bowyer starting back in 13th, worked his way eventually up to about 7th or 8th, but now the car with that 2-tire stop for Bowyer looking a lot better, much more consistent than he's been.
I think it's a whole combination. The racetrack cooling down. Clint got himself up in a lot better position where he doesn't have to deal with all of that traffic.
I think that's the biggest thing, just by the pit strategy, getting him up front in the top 5 puts him in a lot more comfortable position mentally, and I think that's helping him on the racetrack too.
Battle for 5th position, 33 of Ryan Newman, 38 of Jason Leffler, and Denny Hamlin in the 32 car on the bottom of the racetrack.
Teammates side by side.
See Hamlin opting for that low line, trying to make the pass. Have to fall back in line here.
8th place behind him, the 17 car, Jamie McMurray. Roush Fenway car, and above him all the way at the top of the racetrack, the 88 of Brad Keselowski.
Brad's car seemed to be better whenever the sun was out. He doesn't seem to be quite as good. Might need an adjustment here on probably their next pit stop, which would be their final one.
The 66 is Stephen Wallace, by the way. He is the first car a lap down. He would get the lucky dog in the next caution flag.
47, Kelly Byers racing Joey Logano. That's for the 10th spot.
By far the best performance that Kelly Byers has had this year, having to come from the back of the field after an engine change. They're going all the way up to 2nd position.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the solid black car, 25. He just got back on the lead lap through the lucky dog, and a little pit strategy's got him up front here a little bit. He's racing right here with these guys on the lead lap. Comes Scott Wimmer.
If you're not familiar with the story in the 25 car, that team was going to shut down, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. said, "I'm going to write my own checks out of my checkbook to keep this team going to get us to the end of the year." And it's cost him a lot of money, but he did not want to quit. Wanted to be able to run the full season and then hope to find something for 2009.
This is the way to do it. Just race as hard as you can. He's running 13th. If he can get him a good solid top 10 finish to finish the season out, that would make him feel pretty good about his decision to spend his own money to keep racing.
The 9 car you see there is Chase Miller. He's a lap down, but not running bad. Got lapped earlier.
75 laps to go here in the season finale at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Closing in on crowning a NASCAR Nationwide Series champion. Let's let Nationwide take you up to speed, beginning with our leader, Kyle Busch. Mike.
Well, Doc, at times the 18 and Kyle Busch has made it look real easy, but it has not been as easy as it looks this weekend. Before the green flag wave today, they weren't really sure what they had. They struggled a little bit in practice. In fact, had to change shocks 4 times. They were really relying on Kyle's ability to dial that race car in. They called him the difference maker and thought that he'd be able to find the right balance in that race car to get him to victory lane. It looks awfully good right now, Dave.
Mike, the 60 team hopes this race car will be a difference maker for them. It served them well, a win at Michigan, a 4th place at Charlotte, and most recently 2nd place at Texas Motor Speedway. But Drew told me that this car needed a suspension change from Texas, more like the one they had at Charlotte. Smooth racetracks, Charlotte and Homestead-Miami, and this one adapted much better to this racing service.
And behind Carl Edwards, his teammate, is David Reagan. Running 3rd right now. His best finish at this track in 2 starts is 31st. I talked to the team today and said, well, you guys going to help Carl Edwards out? They said, we know that's our teammate. We know he's going for the championship, but we have our own sponsors and our own agenda. And when it comes down to it, we're going for the win. Behind David Reagan, your points leader right now, Clint Bowyer, as I reported moments ago, he said this is the best the car has been. He's happy happy with it. This is the best position he has had since the start of the race. Running fourth right now. Remember, Clint Boyer, this is his third chance at getting this championship. He's never won a championship in NASCAR. Shannon?
Jamie, Denny Hamlin has 4 wins in the Nationwide Series this season, but all of those wins have come in Joe Gibbs racing cars. The best he's finished in this 32 car is second, and he has 2 second-place finishes. So he would love to get a win here tonight. The race started off tight for Denny Hamlin, but the cars definitely come around. On that last pit stop, it was just 2 tires for this 32 car, but all things are good right now for Denny Hamlin. Mike?
Shannon, on the first lap of final practice, the 38 car slapped the wall, pancaked the right side. They missed the rest of practice. Because of that, they weren't really sure how good they'd be in race trim. At the beginning of this race, Leffler came over the radio and said, we're way too loose. In fact, we're turning right more than we're turning left. Well, that was a while ago. Since the sun has gone down, the car has come to life, and Leffler feels pretty good about it. Another guy who feels pretty good about the turnaround in his car, well, that's Jamie McMurray. At the beginning of the race, he described it as, quote, junk. Not too long ago, in fact, just about 10 laps ago, though, he said, guys, we're pretty good. Brad Keselowski, well, that car has gone in the opposite direction. They started off pretty good, but in the meantime, well, it seems like it's gotten worse as the sun has gone down. They're running the high line, but it has not really worked all that well for him. He's still pretty loose. Needs that car to be just a little bit more snug, Jamie.
And Ryan Newman running the 33 for Kevin Harvick Incorporated for the first time in the Nationwide Series. Why? Because they're really good friends. Remember back in 2005, Ryan Newman upset the field when the championship was on the line? It was him who went on to get the victory. Car's been okay. It's been tight most of the night. They're telling him right now to turn off all of his fans to try to get to the front where he was leading just moments ago.
Jamie, with all the driver swapping that Joe Gibbs Racing has done this year, the question might be why not put race leader Kyle Busch in this car, the 20, and let the rookie Joey Logano run the 18 this weekend. Well, J.D. Gibbs told me we've had confidence in this guy ever since we offered him to run either ride. They knew they were going to go for the Owners' Championship in the 20 car, and J.D. says he with confidence said, I would like that pressure. I would like to run it. I'm up for the challenge, and everything he's done this year so far, he's performed. They have retaken that Owners' Championship lead within this race. It's gone back and forth, and they expect Joey Logano to be able to seal the deal this year.
You can see it's fluctuating right now down to 3 points, and Logano trying to hold on. He gave Joe Gibbs Racing a championship in the Camping World East Series a year ago. Now trying to hold on to give him a NASCAR Nationwide Series owner's title. And again, the 47 car, Kelly Byers, a 23-year-old from Wisconsin, just doing a heck of a job here in his final race of the year.
He's really just having a great run from the back of the pack. Had to start back there because of that engine change, but man, he has really made a nice charge to the front.
Now here's what's evolving in the championship story. Because Kyle Busch is leading laps like you predicted, DJ, he has now led more laps than Carl Edwards. And if Carl Edwards doesn't lead the most laps or win the race, that means Clint Boyer only has to finish 14th or better to win the championship. So maybe the pressure is moving now to Carl Edwards. Kyle Busch has now led twice for 43 laps here at the Ford 300 at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Aerial coverage brought to you by our good friends at Goodyear. Get there on Silent Armor technology with the strength of Kevlar for toughness and a comfortable ride. Here's a look at our Holiday Inn Express race summary. There have been 8 different leaders thus far tonight. 9 lead changes. Right now, Kyle Busch has led the most laps. Average speed just over 116.3 miles an hour. Still got 22 cars back on the lead lap. That's important because both of our championship contenders there, cars getting back there could move someone back if they have trouble. We have run a total of 27 laps under caution and been stopped. Had 7 cars that have gone back to the garage area. Here are the point separation right now. 41 points separating Carl Edwards. It was 56 when the day began. Clint Boyer trying to hold on to get his first ever major NASCAR Series title.
Doc, down here in the pit studio, just been sitting here looking at Kyle Busch. Remember when he did not stop under the caution at lap 103, we all talked about how that might have been a disadvantage for this team. but it took them 11 laps of yellow to clean up all that oil dry and mess down the front straightaway. And as Ray, Rusty, and Brad and I have been noodling around the numbers, that might have put this 18 car into a fuel window on equal terms with everybody else. That agree with what you guys are seeing up there?
Yeah, Alan, it does put him in the window. The only thing is he'll have to pit quite a bit earlier than the guys that pitted under that last caution. So that'll put him in a position of vulnerability should the caution come out. But yes, he is in a window. That did help him a lot, those caution flag laps. I expect to see him in here between 145 and 150, and the other guys won't have to make a pit stop for about another 20-25 laps.
And that's exactly what Carl Edwards is hoping, to be able to get that 18 car on pit road so he can lead some more laps and maybe be able to make his stop under caution. 21 car, Scott Wimmer, and the 33 car, Brian Newman. They are battling for 10th and 11th spot.
We're here now that with all these caution flag laps we've had, it extends their range out for about another 10 laps. About 152 is when we expect to see them.
We talked about the fact that the 60 car now has not led the most laps in the race to this point. He has now led 16 fewer laps than Kyle Busch. So let's poll our drivers and crew chief and experts about what the 60 car, Carl Edwards, has to be able to do now, running in second spot, to get up and have a shot at this championship over the two of Boyer back in fourth.
Well, there's not much he can do except try to get the lead, and obviously Kyle Busch is setting a torrid pace. He has been able to beat Kyle Busch here for about the last 5 laps as far as lap times go, so he's closing it back in. He's a little under 3 seconds back, but as long as Clint Boyer's going to continue to do his job, it's not going to matter what Carl Edwards does.
Now, Carl Edwards can't place 5 cars, 10 cars between him and Clint Boyer. That's not in his power, but we see here, that's one spot right there. Brad Keselowski passes Clint Boyer.
Well, we've seen that the 60 car is a little bit better on long runs, so he's got to hope that Kyle Busch has to pit, and then he can stay out there and lead more laps, and at the end of the day, lead more laps than the 18, because that seems to be his main competition. Because right now, it looks like the further we run, the more that 2 car drops back.
Uh-oh. We got a caution, boys. This is going to change a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's going to change everything right now. This guy's just going to come down, put 4 tires on, and just probably drive these babies to the end. One thing we got to be careful with, remember last night in the truck race, 10 laps to go. Benson stayed out, won the championship. Ron Hornaday pitted and lost it. So that's going to be some strategy coming late.
Caution for the 6th time debris on the racetrack, and this is not what Carl Edwards wanted to see. He wanted to be able to get the 18 car, I guess, off the racetrack and get some laps led, but maybe he'll have a shot to get some tires, get this thing dialed up.
Yeah, they were hoping they could go long enough to at least get the 18 car on pit road. If this would have happened about 5 or 10 more laps, that's exactly what would have happened, and they would have been able to catch that 18 a lap down. But right now, he's going to have to race for the win with Kyle Busch. We see right here, 66 car, Stephen Wallace getting the free pass.
Now 23 cars back on the lead lap. Well, pits are open. Let's see if they're going to make a move, and indeed, here they come. Peeling off there in turn 3 on the access road.
So put everybody inside of windows where they can make it to the end of the race on fuel.
This might be the money stop, and it might be the championship money stop.
Well, those guys on the 2 team just have to make sure they do a good, solid job right here. They can't afford any type of mistake right now.
Kyle Busch coming down will lead him at 45 miles an hour. He's chasing history. Everyone's chasing him on pit road. Mike.
Doc, crew chief Joe Weidman said before the race the most difficult part of his job is making the last-minute decisions on how to change the car. He says he leaves those decisions predominantly in the hands of Kyle. Kyle made the call this time. He said the car's so good, I don't want you to change a thing. Just 4 tires and fuel, Jamie.
Championship points leader Clint Boyer in the 2 cars said, I don't want any changes. They made a call for 4 tires this time, but 1 can of Sunoco fuel. Let's see if they can get this money stopped. You can see him behind Carl Edwards, Dave.
Snug center, free on throttle, wedge adjustment, tape on the grill, drink for the driver, tear up, race off pit road. 60 and 18, the 18's going to get him.
Kyle Busch maintains his position. Edwards, and you see Boyer gains a couple of spots. They did a really nice job getting on the left side of that 2 car.
You want to talk about a money stop? That was a money stop for the 2 car. They came in there, all this pressure, and gained 2 spots. Watch the 18 guys. Yes, sir, buddy. Got him out front.
There's the race off. The 18, Kyle Busch held his position. Edwards, great job by the two bunch as well, gaining a couple positions. A race for the title when we come back. Getting set for the green flag here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. 52 laps to go. Kyle Busch on and off pit road in a hurry. Carl Edwards second. And what about the job the two guys did a moment ago to gain a couple spots in the pits for Clint Bowyer?
It's definitely a pressure stop. This team right here ready to win this championship. They go out there and execute their jobs perfectly under a lot of pressure. Right here, every single one of these guys are focused. Gain 2 spots.
Good job to have a good one, boys. Good job. About third. Way to go, boys. Stop, boys.
Clint, he's happy for that too. Glad to see that.
Champions rise to the challenge and deal with the pressure. A great job by Clint Bowyer's bunch. Kyle Busch trying to get his 11th win in a single season to become the all-time record holder for NASCAR, passing Sam Ard. Carl Edwards has 52 laps to somehow get up there, lead some laps, and hope the two-car will slide back so he can win a title. And Clint Bowyer, if he can stay right where he is and nothing changes, he will become the NASCAR 2008 Nationwide Series champion.
We heard Clint call for no changes on his car. I think that he's gotten himself in a good position here. His car is pretty comfortable to him, and he knows exactly what he needs to do. He's making it happen.
Boy, David Reagan making something happen right here.
He's had a good solid day.
He has had a great day. He might even have a car that's, I thought for a while there he was going to be capable of winning this thing. He can make up a lot of ground in a hurry.
Reagan back in 4th position as Brad Keselowski were riding along with the 5th place car. The lap car, the 12 car, Justin Allgaier, he's going by.
Wow, Reagan's way up high and got in the wall right in front of Brad Keselowski.
And Reagan is slowing as cars go by.
No comment inside.
Just when we were bragging on him.
We'll try to get back to work, keep digging, get underneath the lap car of Marcus Ambrose in the sandwich now.
It looked like he's got a lot of damage. He just got up there and kind of kissed the wall as he went through the corner.
He just lost 4 positions now. He's trying to hang on and not lose any more with the 32 car of Hamlin back in 8th position.
Might have a slight tire rub on the 6.
See a car there, the 5 car we haven't talked much about. That's Dale Jr. in the car, but he's been hanging around just outside the top 10 most of the race.
We saw David Ray digging pretty quickly on the restart and making passes, and then he just couldn't quite hold it.
Yeah, he's hard in the gas. We saw this happen to Jeff Burton, who was a little further away, and Jeff's car got away from him, but David got away with just minimal damage there. Going back at it here. Here's Junior trying to make up some spots.
Junior on the move.
Dale Jr. talking in the media center yesterday that this 5 car would probably run a limited schedule, 7 races in 2009 with an all-star cast of drivers. Himself, maybe his teammate Jimmy Johnson, Mark Martin will be in that car. They'll run the 88 car, the other car, full-time with Brad Keselowski. Let's update Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s status. Jamie.
Well, they made some changes throughout the night, but they went back to the way they started. Dale Jr., of course, glad to be behind the wheel of his 5 car. Never won for his own team. Now, this team, guys, have had to let 17 people go because of cutbacks, because this team is only going to run, right now, 7 races in 09. They said after this race, 2 more of their road guys will have to be let go. Guys, unfortunate circumstances, but what a win would do for them tonight.
Will be very important for him trying to attract sponsorship to run more events in 2009. There's the 2 car, Clint Bowyer, now being closed in on by Jason Leffler. That's for 4th spot. And that's what Bowyer can't afford to have happen now. Start having people going by him, losing positions on the racetrack.
He can afford 1 spot or 2 here, but he's not going to get too panicky if just 1 or 2 cars pass him. But now, if some of them start lining up behind him, he'll get nervous.
Yeah, Carl Edwards only got one more spot he can gain. If he doesn't get there quickly, he's not going to be able to lead the most laps. He needs to take this lead away as soon as he possibly can. I think Clint's just got himself in a good position. The 38 car is there, but you can see it's quite a ways back to the next car, who now is the 20 car, Joey Logano. So I think Clint's okay.
And again, the status on clinching here, unless Carl Edwards can get there in a hurry and lead the most laps and win the race, all Clint's got to do is finish 14th. The owner's title up for grabs coming in. It was a 28-point lead by the 20 car of Joe Gibbs Racing entering the day. And right now the margin is 23 points with that 20 car of Joe Gibbs.
Looks like David Reagan's in the wall again here. May have had a tire rub there after that first scrape with the wall, and now it's cut it down.
Right front cut.
Jamie?
Guys, after he brushed the wall the last time, we asked the team, they said they thought the tires were okay, but they thought the toe was knocked out, so perhaps that led to him hitting the wall once again.
One of our rookie contenders also slowing on the racetrack.
He's been in the wall also. You can see the right side damage.
He was running in the top 10. Brian Clausen. Show you what happened to him a moment ago. Top of your screen.
It's basically the same thing David Reagan did earlier, just gets up against the wall.
And here's Reagan's second contact after the one he had 3 laps ago. This one is the one that brought out the yellow flag.
Yeah, he had a tire go down, I'm sure. It doesn't take much of a tire rub to cut the sidewall of one of these tires, and that earlier scrape probably did that.
Brian Clausen will be pushed back to the garage area after coming in hoping to be able to gain on Landon Castle in the Robestas Rookie of the Year standings. Kyle Busch, a 10-time winner in 2008, hoping to be able to make NASCAR history by picking up his 11th victory. He is 42 laps away.
Reminder, tomorrow the NASCAR Sprint Cup will be awarded most likely to Jimmy Johnson at the conclusion of the Ford 400 here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. The chase for the Sprint Cup concluding. It is at 3 Eastern time on ABC, starting with NASCAR Countdown. Jimmy, of course, trying to tie Cale Yarborough as the only drivers to win 3 consecutive championships in 60 years of NASCAR Cup history. About set to go racing, Brian Clausen behind the wall. Shannon?
And Brian Clausen was looking for that Rookie of the Year, started this race 6 points behind Landon Castle. Can you tell us what happened out there?
Yeah, you know, our motor department does a great job, and we don't hardly ever have any failures. And it was kind of weird. I got up top there and really hadn't been sputtering or anything, and it let go when we got up in the wall and you know, switched boxes and everything, see if it flicked back on, but it didn't. So I think there was something worse. So hated for all my guys. They gave me a good car, and you know, we kind of went the wrong way on adjustments there when it got dark, and was trying to get back to running up front, but you know, it was a tough day for us.
And we'll have to wait till after the race to see how this DNF affects those Rookie of the Year standings. Doc?
Shannon, they just evaluate the top 17 starts for the season, so they go back after this race and look at he and Landon Castle and see which one will end up with the most points. Landon Castle had a 6-point lead coming into this race tonight, did not race here in the finale. Well, 40 laps to go, and right now Kyle Busch has led 33 more laps than Carl Edwards. So if Carl's going to lead the most laps, he's going to have to get there right now and get around this 18 car. Not that he hasn't been trying the last 35 laps to get there.
He's been working hard. He did a good job on that restart, but still Kyle Busch pulled out a pretty good sizable advantage when he got to turn 1. Kyle Busch is just so good at those restarts and everything, really. I mean, he executes well on the racetrack.
Eric McClure in the 24 car back on the racetrack as you watch the 38 going in the middle and trying to get around the 2. That is for position. That's for 4th spot. Boyer will hold him off.
Jason Leffler wanting that spot, though. He's working hard.
He said, now come on, man. You got a lot to lose. Let me have that spot. You're not supposed to be racing me this hard. That's how Clint Boyer got in this position, racing hard, just like he is right here.
So I got a chance to be able to get in this series. Clint Boyer ran an ARCA car at Nashville. Richard Childress saw him, got a cell phone number, called him at a body shop in Emporia, Kansas, and said, boy, come over here. I want to talk to you about driving a race car. And the rest, as they say, is history. Clint Boyer got a chance to go drive for one of the legendary owners. And tonight, if he can hold on 37 more laps where he is, he will become NASCAR's newest champion.
He's had a good, solid year. He's done everything that he needed to do to win the championship. He's been there. He's run well. Obviously, been in victory lane. So it's not like they've backed into anything. They've been there and led the championship battle for quite a long time.
They won one race only thus far this year, and that was at Bristol, Tennessee. In fact, this is the exact car they used to go to victory lane. So it's appropriate that they would use that car to try to go to the championship stage here after Homestead-Miami tonight. Double 0 and 47 car. Pretty good battle here. 11th position, Kelly Byers. And the double 0, we keep talking about the talent of Josh Wise, and just this young, every time you talk about what this young man can do in the double 0, people say he has got a very bright future.
Yeah, he really does. A lot of talent. Just needs some more seat time. That's really all that he needs to become a really good driver and get ready to challenge for victories here.
Hey, Carl Edwards, he's coming now. I'm telling you, he got a big run off of turn 2. Made a lot of ground on Kyle Busch that last lap.
And finally seen him move around on the racetrack a little bit more here to change. I think he realized trying to run in the tracks of Kyle Busch wasn't going to get him where he wanted to go. And that's to the lead.
Kyle Busch has now clinched the most laps led, so now Carl Edwards can't do that, but he's going to have to do everything he can to try to win this race.
I don't think Kyle Busch's car is as good as it was that last run.
I don't know one thing. I know that Carl Edwards got him pushing a little bit. You can see the back end kick out. Carl Edwards going to the inside now, trying to make the move.
He's got it.
34 to go. Mark it down. Cousin Carl is the leader here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Here comes Kyle Busch back on the bottom of the racetrack.
You know, Carl needs to win this race, but Kyle Busch wants to win it. He wants to make history. He wants to win that 11th race. So these guys are going to race hard for this win.
Carl Edwards holds on to win this race. The clinch position for Clint Boyer would be 9th. And what brought this car to alive, Dave?
Well, Doc, just before the last round of pit stops, Carl said, where my car is now, I just need to happen a little bit earlier. And the piece of tape that front tire carrier Michael Riggs puts on the car right there may have helped it. That was one change. The wedge adjustment was another, and that got this car quicker sooner. Remember, they said they were great in the long run. They needed to be better in the short run. Unfortunately, they missed the possibility of those laps led by just a couple of laps, but finally, the 60 car is alive.
It's the little things that make a difference, Dave, and that little piece of tape can make a difference on the racetrack.
Wow, a 4-inch piece of duct tape giving you a shot to win a championship. But there's the separation. Carl Edwards, the leader, the 2-car Boyer back in 4th spot. He can finish 9th or better if Edwards wins and still be the champion. Less than 30 laps to go at Homestead-Miami Speedway. There's the points leader, Clint Boyer, losing a position, but he's battling back and forth with the 38 car of Jason Leffler, and they have nearly come into contact a couple of times here.
They have really been battling this thing out. It's making me a little nervous for Clint because he has a lot to lose in this battle.
I'll tell you what, when he gets laid down tonight and thinks about how he won this championship and all that it took, it's just not come easy, even down here to the last 40 laps of the race.
Hey, we got some guys closing on this group too. You see Denny Hamlin right there in that yellow car coming. Joey Logano.
Now again, Carl Edwards currently leads the Ford 300, so Boyer has to finish 9th or better. There is Edwards up front with 25 laps to go. Clint Boyer can only lose 4 positions if Edwards wins the race, or he'll lose the championship.
Well, he's got some fast cars coming in his mirror. He needs to just stay calm right here, and he's got a great spotter up there at Mike Dillon to try to keep him calm. They've got 24 laps to close this deal.
These guys gained on him a little bit because of when Boyer and Leffler were side by side there. But Clint didn't want to just back out and get those guys up on his bumper, because then he's got those guys to deal with. So he's got himself in a pretty good position right here. As long as his car doesn't go away from him, he probably really doesn't want to see a caution come out. He's in the perfect spot here right now. So he's just telling, all right, boys, everybody play nice and everybody will be happy.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
Gotta wonder how hard it is to breathe your Clint Boyer right now, knowing how long you have wanted this and how hard you have worked. He has led the points, folks, since the first week of March, 29 consecutive weeks.
He's got a green light here, too. He can run as hard as he wants to. They should have plenty of fuel to make it, as will all the cars. So they just can race it out on the racetrack. All of these cars need to pass Clint Boyer for Carl Edwards to have a shot at winning this title. Look at one of those cars. That's a 21.
Yeah.
And who owns that one? Richard Childers.
Yeah.
Same guy that owns a 2-car, right?
Same guy. Dale Jr. in the 5. He has made it up into the top 10 here. Running 8th right now. Closing in on Joey Logano in the 20. There's Kelly Byers in the 47 car. Great run for him today from the back of the pack.
Have your ass off here. We don't know yellow car can catch us, but we don't need to catch us till about 8 to go.
That's Mike Dillon talking to Clint Boyer, the spotter.
Now that's the guy right here that has to get by Clint Boyer to get him back to 10th spot to change this championship complexion. Who'd have thought that the guy that started dead last in the race, Kelly Byers, could determine the championship here in the final 20 laps. Update to 2, Jamie.
Great run for Kelly Byers indeed. But Clint Boyer, you guys talking about Richard Childress Racing. Little more emphasis on winning this championship. Why? This is Clint Boyer's 3rd attempt at it ever, and it could be his last. Next year, they don't have sponsorship secured for this 2-car. He will share the ride in the 29. Marcos Ambrose, you guys see on your monitor right there, slowing up, guys.
And we are still green, Jamie, and that is very, very critical to Clint Boyer. A caution flag to tighten the field up could really hurt him. But we have not gone yellow. We are staying green with 20 to go.
Not only could it tighten things up, but it could make things very interesting as to who might come and get tires. And, you know, if Clint decided to stay out there and all the guys right behind him come and get tires, it'd be a tough position.
That's a good break for Clint Boyer, in my opinion, that caution did not come out. That was close, too, because that car hit the wall pretty hard.
It was tire strategy here last night that actually determined the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Championship for Johnny Benson by a mere 7 points over Ron Hornaday. 21 car, Scott Wimmer going by the 20 of Joey Logano. That is for position. That's for 7th spot. Joe Gibbs, car number 20, still a 20-point bulge in the owner's championship position over the 2-car, despite the fact that the 2-car is ahead of him on the racetrack. There's the differential. Jack Roush was 84 points back, just back to 41 now, with Carl Edwards leading the race.
NASCAR just said the track is clear from that last little brush in the wall by Marcos Ambrose. So we'll stay green.
18 to go here. It'll be 17 as Carl Edwards goes by the start-finish line one more time. He's done everything pretty much that he can do. He hasn't not going to lead the most laps, but he's had a good, solid day. He's got himself in position to win the race. But Clint Boyer's also doing what he needs to do to win the championship.
You know, it's tough coming in with a point lead as far as pressure is concerned. But having 56 points to your advantage is a big thing right here with 17 laps to go. You got a little bit to give right here.
And remember what these guys did a week ago at Phoenix, coming in and putting on 4 tires and then driving that car back in the final few laps from 7th to be able to gain spots all the way to 4th. Every position counted last week on that daring call by the crew chief to get him in, Dan Deeringhall.
You'll go back and look at a lot of races where you won or lost a championship. There's so many things like that. That was definitely a turning point for Clint.
Yeah, I thought when they got in the accident on the front stretch on the restart that their day was going to be looking at outside the top 15, which would have obviously closed things up tremendously. But Clint did a great job of driving that car, keeping his composure and doing what he had to do.
Let's check in and visit with Marcos Ambrose. Shannon.
Well, Marcos Ambrose was solidly in the top 10 coming into this race. Can you tell me what happened out there, Marcos?
We just popped a right front tyre there. We got some better damage early, went a couple of laps down. just trying to circulate, survive, but I brushed the wall again. Eventually, I popped it.
And you know Marcos Ambrose will definitely be watching those points as he goes back to his hauler right now. Guys, there's no secure spot for Marcos Ambrose in this Nationwide Series next season, but he will go Cup racing next year.
Another one of the drivers that's had a great year in NASCAR Nationwide. Of course, got his first win at Watkins Glen and going to run full-time in the NASCAR Sprint Cup.
Looks like he'll finish in the top 10 in points regardless. He's had a good year.
He's got another points battle on his hands tomorrow, though, with his Cup car, trying to keep it in the top 35. So he's assured a spot when they get to the Daytona 500 in February.
Denny Hamlin trying to move underneath Clint Boyer to take a spot away. That would be the 5th spot.
This spot is really no problem for Clint if he just gives it up and doesn't let it rattle him. He just doesn't. He needs to keep his cool right here.
Joey Logano losing a position, possibly by the 47.
That closes up that owner's points a little bit.
Now, he hasn't quite got that spot yet.
Myers coming back, and will he thread the needle there? Yeah. The 0-1 car, Danny Eflin on the inside. See if Kelly Byers can. Whoops, they nearly touch. Kelly said, I know you're trying to win an owner's title, but man, I'm trying to get a job. I want to be able to run full time next year and get some sponsorship on my car. Closing in on 10 laps to go. Carl Edwards is our leader. Dave.
And remember, Doc, you talk about he doing everything that he can do this weekend and in this race. Remember, this was the second half run for this team. Drew Blickensderfer did not join this team until the 17th race in at Milwaukee. It was only after that that they got all 6 of their 2008 wins. The first half of the season, a couple of failures to finish, some subpar performances, and that's why they came in here with a deficit. But they have fought back and gotten it close here as we came to Homestead.
Great battle right side of your screen. Look at Wimmer coming all the way up there, trying to move to the inside of the 32 car. And that's for position. The only problem is if Wimmer were to hit the 32, he's going to bounce off the 2, and that can totally change things.
You saw him back off the throttle right there because they were in a really tight spot. 3 wide is not where Clint Boyer needs to be at this point of the race.
Woo. No, definitely not. I'm sure Clint looking over there saying, what are you thinking?
Yeah, yeah, he might have said some variation of that.
Yeah, something like that.
10 to go. Clint Boyer trying to hold on. The margin is 21 points.
10 to go. 10 to go.
These 10 laps cannot go by quick enough for Clint Boyer.
I got to believe Clint Boyer's pulse sounds like a machine gun right now.
Yeah, you've also seen Denny Hamlin there back out. He knows what's going on here, too. He didn't press the issue anymore.
Here's the leader, Carl Edwards. Let's listen in.
How many spots does Clint have to lose right now? Let's get ready to be passed.
Caution on the racetrack. And oh my.
What are we going to do here?
Oh, my goodness. Whoa. I'm glad I don't have to make the decision.
Tell him to stay out, Dylan.
That was a crew chief telling Clint Boyer to stay out.
Close right now. Pull around over here. The leader's coming out the 4.
Like the 12 car Justin Allgaier got in the walls but brought the caution out.
Oh, man.
Oh, then there was life for Roush Fenway. Jack Roush knows that all he wanted was a shot.
Here's the problem with Clint Boyer. He stays out in 5th. If everybody comes behind him, this could put him in a really bad situation.
A lot of these guys still have a set of tires left, at least right side, I think that they're going to come get.
This is a tough call, man. I'm glad I'm not on that box.
Well, I was getting ready to ask you, what would you do?
I don't know. I mean, really, I would like to pit, but then you put yourself in a position of losing it. This is a tough call for this team.
We'll put tires on it. I don't think he's going to. I didn't hear him.
This is all.
If the 60 comes, we'll come on it.
Yeah, this is all going to be dependent on what the 60 does.
No, I would stay. Just stay there. We'll be okay. Y'all do what you want to do.
Okay, here comes the cars behind.
Kyle Busch came in.
32. Here comes Logano. Nope. Boy, this was a tough decision by a lot of guys. The ones that stayed on the track is what's going to help Clint Boyer.
Others
Did I not see Kyle Busch come, but back through the grass? Because he went back on the track, did he not? It's hard to see from our vantage point here.
Yeah, there's the 18. Back behind Carl Edwards in second spot.
So you have to make this commitment right here before you get to the grass. If he goes out before the grass, he
got back. Yeah,
makes it back out.
Yeah, we took the camera off there. Fooled me. I didn't take much else. The rest of the guys. I honestly thought some of these other guys would come in.
All right, 7 laps to go. Let's talk to Carl Edwards.
Carl, Dale Jarrett, ESPN. You got me?
I got you, Dale.
Well, man, you've done everything you could possibly do to win this championship.
Yeah, you know, it's not, it sure isn't over, man, but it's not just about tonight. It's the whole season, and, you know, we'll just do the best we can tonight. We'll see what we get, but definitely having a good time. To save a lot of confusion's good, man. Definitely having a good time, but I'm sure this isn't what Clint wanted to see. We really needed this restart, even if it, you know, hurts our chance to win the race. It's going to add a little drama, I hope.
Well, I think you're exactly right, Carl. And instead of another question, I just want to say thanks on behalf of everyone at ESPN and all the fans out there for you being so gracious. As many times as you've done this all year, answered the questions as you've been in the heat of the battle for this. And we just appreciate what you've done for us and for our sport.
Hey, man, it's my pleasure. Just glad you folks get to ride along with me. It's pretty cool to be able to talk to everybody at home from your race car. That's neat. So hope you guys enjoy the show.
We've enjoyed it. Good luck.
What a great champion he has been. He is the reigning NASCAR Nationwide Series champion, a 6-time winner this year in this series, 8 wins in the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Still has an outside shot, a slim but an outside shot of becoming the NASCAR Sprint Cup champion here on Sunday. And there's the 2 car back in the 5th position. Again, the scenario, he has to finish 9th or better in order to become the champion. Now the car.
Make sure them guys behind us know what the deal is.
Clint making sure everybody and spotters getting all of those other spotters up there, telling them make sure what's going on. You know, the thing, there's a couple of issues here. Clint Boyer, he has to make sure that he gets up through the gears. He doesn't want to spin the tires, give opportunities for guys to start filing by and get himself in position there to get passed by a number of cars.
The key thing in this whole deal was he was running 5th. If everybody behind him pitted got tires, he'd be in big trouble. There's a lot of cars that stayed on the racetrack behind Clint Boyer. I think that's going to give him plenty of buffer here to bring this thing home. Shannon?
Yeah, guys, while that 21 car Scott Wimmer certainly wants to go to victory lane, he did just come over the radio, told his crew chief to tell Clint Boyer, don't worry, I'll give him plenty of room on this restart. Just a teammate looking out for that championship contender, wanting to get Clint Boyer his first championship.
Last night, the championship was decided by 7 points. Folks, if Edwards wins a race, stays where he is, and Boyer were to finish 9th, Boyer would win the title by 4 points. 10 months, 34 races, and 4 points separating the top 2 in a championship. Doesn't get much better than that here in NASCAR.
One thing you need to worry about is this restart. Just like you said, Dale, last couple of weeks has been kind of hairy. We saw that last week at Phoenix, where they just kept piling them up on the restarts. That's the last thing Clint Boyer wants to see now.
Yeah, the good thing for Clint is he can give a little bit of room to Jason Leffler in front of him, and he's got his teammate right behind him who's going to give a little bit of room there just in case something should happen. So Clint's in a pretty good spot right here. I'm like you, though. I'm really surprised that more of those cars didn't come in back there and try to take advantage of a situation like that to really gain some spots.
Again, up front, remember, and it's not just about the championship. There's Carl Edwards wants to get his 7th win of the year, but the guy behind him, Kyle Busch, wants history. He wants to be in the history books as the winningest driver in a single season in the 27-year history of this series.
Yeah, is there anybody better on these restarts to get going and go fast for a few laps than, I mean, obviously he's done it a lot this year.
There's a lot on the line here for this last little bit. You got guys that want to win races, win championships, owners championships. There's a lot on the line right here, these last 5 laps.
This is the way it should happen here in NASCAR. It comes down to the final laps on the final race of the year.
We haven't said Brad Keselowski's sitting there in 3rd spot. He's done a great job today, but he hasn't won. He's won races, but he hasn't won on this type of track. He'd love to do that here.
And the very first race they ever ran here in 1995, on the final lap, the driver who was running fourth in turn 3, some guy named Dale Jarrett, ended up winning the race in the top 3 in front of him.
Just never know what'll happen. You race to the end, and something good may happen for you.
Here we go. Carl Edwards pulls away. Boyer down on the bottom of the racetrack. There's his teammate, the 21 car, up high. Right in front of the 32. Got a bit of a buffer there.
Looking good so far.
Here comes Kyle Busch trying to get to the inside. Whoa. He was in the gas pretty hard right there, but a little too much it looked like.
3 laps to go. Let's see if Kyle Busch can get him.
Kyle Busch turns it hard left, takes his Toyota down in the low groove. Edwards up high with the Ford. There comes the 88 car digging hard in his Chevy.
I think Carl Edwards moved his car to the middle top of the racetrack. That's when this race really changed for him. He was able to run Kyle Busch down, take the lead from him, and been able to hold that advantage.
2 to go.
3 miles away for Clint Boyer from a NASCAR championship. 2 laps.
You know, we've talked a lot in this scenario about Clint. It was kind of his to lose, but yeah, I'll give this man credit today. He went out here and won this championship. He had to drive hard, had himself in some tough positions early in the race, but he's able to really do a tremendous job. He's got 1.5 miles left.
White flag in one position, moving up behind him. Shouldn't make much difference if he can hold on. Carl Edwards, the leader. Kyle Busch in second. Keselowski third. Leffler fourth. And Boyer trying to hang on to 5th spot. Half a lap away.
Doesn't look like Kyle Busch is going to have anything for Carl Edwards in his final turns.
Coming out of turn 4, Carl Edwards will win the battle, but will not win the war. Edwards will win the race, and the 2008 NASCAR Nationwide Series champion is Clint Boyer.
Congratulations, Clint Boyer.
Oh, what a great year.
Buddy, you hit it. Woo! Sit down, boy! Woo!
Oh, that's great. Nothing feels better than winning a championship.
Nothing like it. Nothing like it. That's what you work all year for. Congratulations to all of these guys. Richard Childress and that entire team.
Dan Deerinhoff, the crew chief there, congratulating his guys as the fireworks go off.
Congratulate Carl there.
Clint becomes the 20th different driver to win a championship in the 27-year history.
These guys had a tough fight all year long. Still good buddies there.
Yep, a little bumping and rubbing, a little congratulatory rub there.
Here comes your owner's championship winner, the 20 car, won it by 12 points. A lot of winners tonight.
Sure was. What a great season they put on for us. Just a great battle the entire way. What a charge Carl Edwards made here.
Fans know what's coming next. 7th time this year in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Here he comes.
Oh, boy, that was perfect. Way to cap it off.
Carl Edwards wins the race, and Clint Boyer wins the championship. What a night for fireworks here in South Florida. The season finale for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. The 2008 NASCAR Nationwide season is history, and there's the champion waiting very patiently, for his car has been staged over in turn 2 because they're going to get the victory stage set up. And while we wait to talk with the champion, let's go down and talk with the race winner, Carl Edwards, in victory lane.
And Carl Edwards climbing victoriously from his machine. Wow, yet another victory. The way you ended the season with a flourish, but for this one, you had to hold off the hottest driver in the series this year, Kyle Busch. What was that restart like with him right behind you?
Man, that's a great win. I mean, to be able to hold off 18 as strong as they are, that was a good race. I had a really good time. Congratulations to Clint and those guys. It's a class act. It's no good to finish second in the championship, but I know he'll be a good champion for Nationwide. And if I got to get beat by somebody, it's a dirt racer from Emporia, Kansas is the best guy to get beat by. But Save-A-Lot, Scott's, World Financial Group, Under Armour, Ford Motor Company, especially the fans for showing up in such great numbers for these nationwide events.
You made it incredibly exciting over the last month or so, came up just 21 points short. How would you describe the battle for this championship this year as it came down to this closing race?
Well, one of the neatest things about this series, about the championship is it's different from the Cup Series. It's all season. It's not tonight that determines this championship. So we'll be back next year. I hope Clint comes back and races with us. That'd be fun. And the great thing is, I think we have a lot to look forward to. We've got a great team, both here and on the Cup side. And there's no shame in giving it 100% effort and finishing second. That's the best we could do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Doc, he's still got another shot at yet another title. Needs a lot of help, but he could be the champion tomorrow.
Carrying a lot of momentum into this race tomorrow for the NASCAR Sprint Cup season finale. Clint Bowyer will finish the year with 1 win, 14 top 5 finishes, 29 top 10s, but most importantly, he will have the designation NASCAR Nationwide Series champion. Let's go down and visit with his championship crew chief, Jamie.
And that would be Dan Deeringhoff, has made the calls upon that pit box for the last 3 years. Dan, 8 to go, the caution flag drops. What was that moment like?
Well, it's kind of an easy call because we didn't have a lot of tires left. We only had left side. So Carl was saying he was coming. I think he's just trying to play a little game with us there on the radio. But, BBT Chevrolet ran real good. I can't say enough about these guys. And, the solid all year long. Clint Bowyer, he's a champion. That's pretty awesome. So I'm just glad to be a part of it.
We know you're going to be the crew chief on the 29 next year. Clint will be only part-time, won't go for the championship. What has it been like, this journey with Clint for the last 3 years to get to this championship?
It's been fun, really it has. This is what we do this for. And, next year we'll have 3 drivers, and maybe we can go get that owner's championship next year.
All right, he's eagerly awaiting his driver. He hasn't made it to the front stretch yet. Dan Deeringhoff, Clint Bowyer win by 21 points. Doc?
The 4th closest margin in NASCAR Nationwide Series history. Clint Bowyer on his way around now to climb out and be crowned NASCAR's newest champion. We'll talk with him when we come back.
The Ford 300 at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, brought to you by the all-new 09 F-150. It's not just a new truck, it's a new F-150. The champion has made his way around to begin the celebration with his team. Dave Burns is there.
He's been waiting patiently over in turn 2. Here's Carl to congratulate. Well, you rubbed fenders with him all year. He got the up sometimes. You got the up sometimes. In the end, you are the champion. What was it like beating Carl Edwards this race this year?
We've raced a long time. We're both from the Midwest. He's a good competitor. He's last year's champion. It feels really good to be able to beat him. Dan Deeringhoff and all these guys on the BB&T Chevrolet, they've just done a good job all year long. We've been consistent. We did the things it takes to win championships. Richard, for giving me the opportunity. BB&T, Camping World, everybody involved, Chevrolet, Monte Carlo. How about that? Beat that Ford. So, just incredible. I'm so excited for everybody.
Clint, you were a NASCAR regional champion, and now you're on the national stage. Got that phone call. How'd we get here?
I have no idea, but I think it's just Carl and I both are, it just goes to show you that the stepping stones that NASCAR's put forth for us young drivers to come up through the ranks and have a shot at this can do it. We both were, weekly racing champions, racing the regional championships, and kids at home, they should go for it.
Describe knowing when the caution came out that you had to be on pins and needles for a little while longer.
No, man, I was getting tight. We just got real tight, and I really didn't want to see it, but in hindsight, it worked out. I want to thank my teammates, everybody, Kevin and Jeff Burton, and Wimmer right there at the end. He watched my back, and that's what teamwork's all about. Really hope Wimmer, lands the ride. He deserves it. He's a hell of a race car driver.
Clint Boyer is your 2008 Nationwide Series champion. Let's go to someone else who has something to celebrate as well. Shannon?
All right, Dave. Joey Logano, 12 points, owner championship you have earned. Joe Gibbs Racing, their very first championship in the Nationwide Series. I got to ask you, what has the pressure been like this past week, knowing what you had to do here this weekend?
It was a lot of pressure, obviously, but getting the pole earlier was a big plus, and leading those laps in the beginning made me think we had a really good DLP Toyota, and longer run we just weren't there, and we tried adjusting it forward, and we just couldn't get it right. We were either really good in the beginning or really at the end, but it's awesome for this whole 20 bunch to win this race or win the championship. That's such a big deal, going through the thick and the thin with these guys, and then with Denny and Tony and Kyle driving the car and running up front winning races. That helps out a lot. So it's cool for these guys. I got to thank GameStop too. They helped a lot through this whole season. So there's plenty of people I got to thank for this one.
Yeah, what does it mean to be part of this organization, part of this title right now? You came in mid-season. This team has been completely dominant. Dave Rogers, of course, watching you right now. What does it mean for you, Joey?
It's awesome. Like I said before, they work so hard back at the shop, here at the racetrack. We're always, the last one to go home at night, working on these cars, making a ton of laps in practice, doing what we got to do to make these things as good as we can, and I'm glad that it paid off. Got a little closer than I wanted it to, but, it's just awesome for these guys. Those are the guys that really deserve it. I only drove half the season.
All right, Joey Logano's going to have to pull out that tuxedo because he is going to the championship banquet in Orlando. Mike?
And Brad Keselowski ends the season on a relatively high note, third place finish, but it seemed like the car was bottoming out in 3 and 4 towards the end of that final run. Was that the difference for you?
Yeah, every little bit counts. We're so close, what a great year, what a great effort. Had a great race here in Homestead, great way to finish off the season, and congratulations to Carl and Clint, and Chevrolet winning the championship. That's cool, but it's just been a great year, and last race for me in the Navy, and what a good way to end it. And it's been a great sponsorship, and just been great to represent all of them. So, can't say how thankful I am for everyone this year. Thanks, ESPN.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, it's been great. Coverage has been great. So, thanks, everyone.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And Brad Keselowski ends on a high note. A couple of wins this year and a top 3 to go out. Jamie?
And another high note, Jason Leffler finishes 4th, ties his best finish of the year, and some of the best racing we saw all night between you and the championship winner, Clint Boyer. What was it like, Jason? He wouldn't let up.
No, and you got to be careful. The guys in the great clip started to give me a great car, and just got racing Clint there, and you just don't want to be the guy that wrecks him and costs him championship. Same token, I don't think he could have raced me as hard as he wanted. So once I got position on him, he didn't race me really hard. So it's a good race. Good to end the season on a high note. We've had a terrible year, and not to be negative, but it's just we have, and to end it with our best run, our best performance, gets everybody through the winter, and gives us the confidence that we can do this every week next season.
Well, and the good news is Jason Leffler, this entire team staying intact. They will be back to run for the championship in 2009. Doc?
Down here with second place finisher Kyle Busch. I know that you were looking for history here tonight, Kyle. Finished second, but this season has been unbelievable for you guys. How satisfying has it been to be a part of this organization and do what you have been able to do?
Oh, it's been great. The guys have done a phenomenal job all year long, and this was the first place that we unloaded a little bit behind, and it kind of showed there, I guess, a little bit at the end. And we had so many crutches built into this car to try to make it go fast, and it was fast, but I don't know if the damage on the front end was a culprit there towards the end of the race, but it just went all of a sudden so tighter than I'd been all night, and didn't have anything to show for it, but come up short.
Now you see the celebration going on right now for the championship. There's speculation that you may go for a championship in the Nationwide Series next year. Any word on that? Can you let us know what your plans are?
You'd have to ask JD. I don't know anything yet. I'm not a part of that program, so I drive whatever they tell me to drive.
All right, well, certainly if he does go for a nationwide championship, it will be a battle for that championship for Kyle Busch.
All right, Shannon, thanks. So we've heard from the champion Clint Boyer. Now on stage, time for the presentation of the championship trophy. For that, let's go back to Dave Burns.
And we are now down on the stage to make this all very, very official, joined by NASCAR's president Mike Helton, who's going to congratulate our 2008 driver champion.
Clint, congratulations. You guys, you and RCR did a nice job this year, along with Joe Gibbs Racing, to put on a heck of a program for the whole Nationwide Series. We're proud to have you as our 08 Nationwide Series champion, and congratulations from all of NASCAR.
I appreciate it. It's a dream come true. It really is. You know, coming up, Carl and I both, you know, race for a championship, came up through the stepping stones of NASCAR, and that's what it's all about right there. So really proud. Thank you.
Kudos to Clint and car owner Richard Childress, but finishing just ahead of him in the Owners' Points Championship this year was the 20 team of Joe Gibbs Racing, and right now John Amon, Associate Vice President of Strategic Sponsorship for Nationwide Insurance, will present the trophy to J.D. Gibbs. John?
JD, on behalf of all of Nationwide, congratulations on a great season. This is excellent. Happy to present to you this trophy.
Thank you. We appreciate Nationwide support so much, and a big hats off to all the guys on Richard's team, and Clint has a great finish there. And for us, it was just to have Joey in the car, Denny in the car, you know, between Kyle and Tony. It was great to wrap up. It means a lot to us, and we'll treasure this forever. Thank you. Great.
Two champions crowned tonight on the big stage at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Alan?
All right, David, thank you. So the award ceremony and the official presentation of the rings and the checks and all the rest of that happens next Saturday night in Orlando, Florida, for Clint Boyer and his team, and J.D. Gibbs and the 20 team. And the final championship standings as we get a final thought from this 2008 season.
Just a fantastic job for Clint Boyer. Now we can talk to Clint and call him champ. And it's got a nice ring to it.
Outstanding. He led this thing from wire to wire. He dealt with the pressure. He reacted like a champion, responded like a champion, and he is the champion.
And congratulations to Clint and Richard and everybody. We know that Clint's a great driver, but let's not forget about Dan Deerhoff and what those guys did last week at Phoenix, and then to take that car tonight, make it better, get him a good, crucial pit stop. I think that the championship team is right there, too.
That was outstanding season for all. Congratulations to all. Let's go upstairs. Doc, DJ, and Andy, a final thought?
Well, what a time for a performance for these guys here. The two-car getting it done here, the last race of the year in a championship performance here on the night when they had to have it.
Yeah, you see a difference with Clint Boyer's team. They raced for this championship from day one. They'd only won one race, but they knew the big prize was right here on this stage tonight.
Yeah, he did a terrific job. Everything they had to do, and I think as they look back, there's going to be a lot of things that they can say, well, that made a difference. But last week, just like Ray said, at Phoenix, that was a great effort on their part. But the tremendous amount of pressure that you come into this last race, knowing what you have to do and going out and doing it, my hat's off to Clint. Great champion, going to be a great champion for the sport, and to Richard Childress, who's put so much into not only this Nationwide series, but in the Sprint Cup racing and all of NASCAR racing for a long time.
A young man from the Midwest, from Emporia, Kansas, who got a phone call 5 years ago from Richard Childress to give him a chance to come to NASCAR. And tonight, he realized a dream. Alan?
All right, Doc, thanks. So 2 champions determined thus far this weekend here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. The third set tomorrow in the Ford 400, the final race in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Jimmy Johnson in position to well claim the title. Carl Edwards still with an outside shot at the championship. But of course, Jimmy Johnson with a commanding lead, and provided nothing really goes askew for him on Sunday, he will equal the great Cale Yarborough as the only driver ever to win 3 consecutive Cup championships. History in the making here in South Florida on Sunday. Now, the trick to that is Jimmy starts 30th, Carl Edwards starts 4th. It should be some anxious moments in the early going.
Definitely some anxious moments early in the race. Being that far back in the pack like Johnson is, he's got to be real careful. I believe he can lock this thing up with no problem, but he can't mess up, and there's a chance that could happen.
There's a hornet's nest going on back at the 35th spot, fighting for that 35th position, so there's going to be some tumultuous times around him. He's going to have to be really careful tomorrow.
Carl's not worried about it. He's going to put an exclamation point on this season. He's going after the win.
All right, so one champion's trophy held tonight by Clint Boyer. Johnny Benson crowned the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion last night. Tomorrow, most likely Jimmy Johnson with that 3rd consecutive NASCAR Sprint Cup. And we will be here with every bit of the action for you tomorrow, starting at 3 Eastern Time on ABC. ESPN2 College Football Scoreboard is up next. Congratulations to Carl Edwards, winner of tonight's race. And there is Clint Boyer, your 2008 NASCAR Nationwide Series champion. It all started 10 months ago at Daytona, crisscrossing the country all this time, and when it came down to the final months of the season, Carl Edwards with a tremendous rally, but consistent Clint running up front each and every week, had what it took, best average finish, and the driver from Emporia, Kansas has taken home the trophy as the 2008 NASCAR Nationwide Series champion. For our entire ESPN NASCAR crew, Alan Bestwick saying so long from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Join us tomorrow at 3 Eastern for the Sprint Cup finale.